root beer.
I'm
drinking root beer.
Y'all heard that she's drinking root beer. Anyway, welcome to News on the Flip Side. And what kind of root beer are you drinking now that we're talking about this?
Texas Roadhouse, Taco Bell.
Oh man, come on! You got to drink Barks root beer. Look, there's only one real.
I don't know what they have.
Barks
it's Taco Bell. After 10 o'clock at night, I'm having Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. I used to be a GM for Taco Bell.
They're not a sponsor, but they should be.
Yes. You know what? I want to call my ex-supervisor. He's still there with him. He's an executive VP these days. He's always tried to get me. Oh, I'll make you supervisor. Yeah, whatever. Keep your job. I did. I was actually a general manager for McDonald's, and I was leaving McDonald's, and I was making we're talking
they make
30
good money.
Well, as a GM, so this is going back about 35 years. I was getting almost $90,000 a year plus bonus. My bonuses range anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000 a year, and that's nothing compared. Like these McDonald's working Mardi Gras, some of these people might actually see $1 million bonus. So yes, guys, and even their store managers most make between 25 and 50, just depending on what you know and where you're at. Now, once you get below that, you're in the hourly wage, $10 to $20 an hour, but still. Once you have management, they make good money. I'm surprised. But Taco Bell came in and offered me this package, all benefits paid. If I got hurt in any way off the job, because I used to like to race dirt cars when I was young. And
Did you really?
Yeah.
I freaking love the dirt track. Okay, go ahead.
And I was actually good too. And I'm not gonna say who made me quit, but we're not gonna get into that night. But anyway,
shake and bake.
Yeah, so they would cover it if I got hurt off the job, and anyhow they'd pay me 85% of my salary. It would pay all my medical and dental up to 100%. I was like, look at this, and they gave me about $25,000 more a year. I was like, wow. And so I came and worked for them for a while, and then they started taking advantage of me and made me run 2 stores. Then I got to know all the cops in like 3 different parishes or 3 different counties and all kind of cities, which was cool. Especially when you're roaming around in the middle of the night somewhere, looking for aliens or something. Hey, Bob, how you doing, man? What you doing out here, Joe? Nothing you don't want to know. Trust me. But anyway, they paid really good. I was surprised. And then out of things, this convenience store company came up and offered me a training manager's job. Now, remember, people, I have advanced degrees in avionics and electronics and a bachelor's in science. And I'm working for these people because I'm making that much more money. I was just amazed. So they came in and said, "Look, we're gonna give you everything you've got right now, plus this, and this. We want you to come be our training manager." But they wanted me to do 1 or 2 other things because I was kind of known across some of these companies for catching thieves. So they asked me if I'd come in and review a bunch of tapes when I first got there before I started training manager. I said, "Sure." I said, "But I want $500 per thief I catch. First day, 5 stores, 15 people. First day. By the end of the week, I had caught almost 105 people. And stupid shit like taking money and rolling it and sliding it under the register, or not actually dropping it in the dropping it on the side to save. I'm like, what do you think? We blind people? But the problem was nobody was really reviewing the tapes. And you have to learn how to review a tape in fast forward mode, or you'll never get it done. You can't do it in real time because they're 8-hour tapes. So, man, they were like, okay. Yeah. I still remember my boss came in. He's an executive VP. He goes, "Okay, Joe, that's enough for a while. Let's go back to training managers how to do this." And I told him, so I'm in a big meeting with like 3 executive VPs, the president of the company. I said, "I'll tell you what's wrong. You teach your managers how to steal." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Let me tell you, let's go through their training." I said, "You're teaching them how to steal." I said, "You showed them all the ways to catch a thief, which means you just showed them all how to steal." And they were you could just see their face was like, and I said, "Look, let's try a different form of training." So we took on a new program for the next 2 years. Man, inventory theft went down. Money theft went down like 85%. They were like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And then I decided, you know what? I'm really good. Let me go business for myself. Screw this. So I went, because I used to own a construction company before I got into fast food. I grew up, our family owned a bunch of restaurants when I was growing up, and they owned real estate companies. So I kind of grew up in both. And so it was not foreign to me to get into it, but I'm just telling y'all people, because a lot of people look at these like McDonald's and Taco Bell and think, "Oh, that sucks." Yeah. when you get to the big
There's
job,
good money.
making the money,
There's
people.
good money. I worked at Texas Roadhouse in Ashland. It was the #1 Texas Roadhouse in the nation because I was trying to open up my own restaurant. And I worked there Saturdays to get just experience because I never worked a restaurant before. And it ended up, I love that place. I ended up just working there. My partners that was part of that restaurant ended up backing out. But we would have stuff, not stealing money so much, but we would have guys in the back, kitchen staff, like they would steal whole big tubs of croutons, and then they would take the croutons home and bag them and then sell the crouton. Everything at Roadhouse is handmade except for the sour cream and applesauce. So we had those kind of people at Roadhouse. It was not stealing money. They were stealing our products.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, that happens too.
Croutons.
Oh yeah. They'll steal product and anything they can get their hands on. You name it. Hey, it's Uncle Jay. What you doing? Look at Jay's looking sexy tonight, baby. What you up to, man?
That blue.
I know, man. That's what I'm thinking, man. I'm like, whoa, mama. Let's
top.
Let's look good there.
Yeah, it kind of it's sort of Superman
You're
color.
looking good, baby. Now these women will be going, oh my God, man, what are we gonna be doing?
Blue's a good color. That's why I keep my back blue.
Blue's a good color.
Oh.
I have several nice, really pretty blue shirts. Well, so if you go on my personal website or on UFO on the Cover site, there's a place where you can pick what color shirt you want me to wear, what color tie you want me to wear. And,
I gotta write that down. Where's that at?
Oh no, I ain't telling you. No, we ain't talking about it no more.
No,
okay, people, let's move on to something else.
I want to replay this. Oh my goodness! God. I might have to buy you some ties and send it to you, Joey. I need your address.
Oh Jesus, baby. You don't even know. I have more ties than any one man should have. You think I was richer than
marijuana leaf tie?
I have one of them too, but I also have Christmas ties and all kinds. But I got a lot of silk ties, the long thin silk ties. And I got ties like these these actually go. This one and there's a purple one like this. Actually,
you have. I love Elon Musk tie, don't you?
I love Elon, man. Elon's my. Oh, wait a minute. No, we got to talk about this. Why she done brought Elon? So just tell you how great this man is. First, he lands 3 rockets the other day. I'm watching China and the U.S. mouth like he's launching 3 of them. And then on top of that, so he tested his new let's go to the moon and Mars spaceship. He shoots it up in the air, and not only does he come back and land it, he lands it in such a way that the tower could catch it. That was like, oh my God, NASA can't even get theirs in freaking space, and he's catching the damn things. I'm like, I was impressed. I was, oh man, the man is brilliant. But while he's being so brilliant with SpaceX, they're recalling, what is it, 36,000 Teslas? I was like, so maybe he should get out.
That doesn't sound good.
Elon Musk, if you're hearing us right now, you need to come on the show.
So they are saying that he single-handedly is going to bring down the FBI.
He already has.
That's what they're saying. By buying Twitter, and because he bought Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg felt the need to come out and say what he said. Which Mark was smart. He got ahead of it. Instead of waiting until Elon said something, he came out first and said something. So he was smart. So now they're nailed. I mean, here you've got Elon Musk saying, look, this is all what they were saying. They were coming every day and doing this. Now we're talking about criminal charges for Jack Dorsey and his board of directors.
Oh, the Roth guy.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh man. And plus, our other boy over there with the crypto coins, he's probably going to jail for life.
Did you see who bailed him out?
No, I didn't.
It was
I just heard about him the other day.
Dean of Stanford and the director of Department of Stanford. But his parents worked at Stanford, but that's also a big, huge place where George Soros funds.
But they said his AI stuff is brilliant. It's just he didn't have the money to do it, and he was using everybody else's money to fund it. And of course, it's like anything else in the tech world. You think it's going to be done in a year, but no, it's going to be done in 10. It's just how it works in the tech world. It's never when you think it's going to be ready. And he just...
It's the JFK challenge. You do it now, it takes 10 years. That's exactly right.
So, he didn't understand that he was too young to understand.
They're asking all of the different parties to give back. They're asking to return the donations.
Yeah. But the problem is so a bunch of the money he used it in forwarding his company. I forgot the name of it, but trying to
FXT
AI
or
to,
FTX.
yeah,
FXT,
whatever. No, it wasn't that one. It's something he was using FXTs to fund to work on AI. That's what got him in all this trouble. He was using everybody's money to fund
Sam
that company.
Brinkman.
Yeah, he was using the money to fund their company, and he was trying
It's
to invent
FTX.
AI. He was trying just to invent artificial intelligence, and
there's people killing themselves over this. They lost everything.
They lost everything.
They're saying Twitch, the popular hip hop guy that was on Ellen. They're saying that's why he committed suicide. But the way that happened or went down is kind of suspicious in the hotel he was at and everything. But they're saying he committed suicide because he lost everything in FTX.
Yeah, well, FTX, bit the big one. They hey Rick, what's up, babe?
And they gave how much money to Democrats?
They gave a lot. But you know what? They didn't just give money to Democrats. That's what everybody don't realize. They gave a lot to the Republicans too. And come to find out, I bet y'all didn't know this. George Soros gave $200 million to the GOP in the last 3 years. I bet y'all didn't know that.
Well, George Soros just said, kind of put a spin on that he recommends DeSantis.
Oh, you know what? That's a perfect segue. That is a perfect segue, Emily. So new poll came out today. Okay. It's let me go find it right quick. I had it up here just a few minutes ago. Don't let me forget, I want to talk about Nikki Haley too.
Oh, I have a new poll that came out yesterday with DeSantis.
Let's see.
So I want to see what your poll says.
Wait, hold on. I just had it here a second ago. What did I tell you? I kept it so I didn't have to go looking. Oh, here it is. So 2 new polls, actually. DeSantis approval drops in GOP primary. The other poll says, and that's the one I was just talking about, is from The Hill. The other one says that Trump has now taken DeSantis and Biden in the polls.
He has.
He is now back in first place. Now,
by big time though. It's not. Hold on. Let me find the poll I have.
Yeah.
I saved it, but hold on. It's big time right now. So we'll see what happens. This is like info polls. It's like a bipartisan. It might take me a second to find it. I thought I saved it right here, but George Soros kind of endorsed DeSantis, and I'm just going to say this for the record: if DeSantis says that if he will run for president off the GOP, then I know what side he's truly on, because what they do, they divide and conquer. It's going to divide MAGA, and actually, I don't even think DeSantis will win. I think the Democrats will win, unless there's cheating involved. Honestly, he's lucky that the state of Florida stays red.
Well, I don't know what all is going to go down here. DeSantis. Well, okay, who was it?
This poll, I had it right here.
I'll find the other one in a minute.
Oh, here I have it right here. 2024. Yeah. This was yesterday. No, that's not it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
that was January 27th. I missed it. Hold on. Let me scroll up. I scrolled too far. I saved it on my saved things. I saved too much stuff.
Wait. What is this? Who just sent me this? Video shows Kennedy questioning FBI director, not opposing Cortez's shady activities.
Who's Cortez?
Alexander Cortez, AOC.
Okay.
She's on the investigation right now. So
okay, they have Trump up by 9 points. This was.
You so cute, baby. I think.
Actually, this is February the 5th.
Yeah,
I thought I just had something 2 days ago. This is February the 5th. I have Trump up by 9 points at 50%. I have Biden at 41%.
Yeah, Biden's numbers. The balloon thing is killing Biden. It's just killing him.
Everything should kill him.
But he wasn't. He was ahead. DeSantis was in second. Biden was in first, and Trump was in third. And then the balloon thing came out, and this is what makes all the difference, ladies and gentlemen.
How about the State of the Union address? It was like the lowest viewed State of the Union address in history.
Pathetic. It was pathetic. I'm not even arguing with you. It was pathetic. But none of that mattered, because the country said, well, all right, we're on this bullshit. The Democrats
he
were
lied
backing
in
him.
state. He lied in state.
Yeah,
He
well,
should
but
be arrested.
I'm not going to hate on
sorry.
him. Every president I know has lied, so I'm not going to
Not
hate
like
on him for that.
him.
Oh no, I know a few that probably lied more than him. But
He
we're not
got
going to go there
heckled.
today. Well, he got heckled a lot, but
Bad.
but that didn't. Nobody cared. The Democrats were still on his side. Whoa, but there comes the balloon. So what happened is I said this a week ago. I said, look, people, y'all aren't taking this balloon serious. I said it had a package the size of a school bus. That means it could have been carrying a nuke. It flew over 3 of our nuclear bases. It could have detonated, and the EMP alone we wouldn't have been able to launch. I said then it curved past DC. I said over Maryland, and it would have nuked right there. Would have killed DC. I said, did you realize our Congress was in session? The Democrats and everybody was there. The House, the Senate.
You realize this, that they said, we knew this was there. We knew this was there. And Blinken was going to China. What was it, on February 1st, 2nd or something? And he was still going, but they knew the balloon was there before he was going. So what tipped everybody off? It was Twitter. It was somebody on Twitter that took a video out there, out in the West somewhere in no man's land. They had plenty of opportunities to detonate that thing.
Well, yeah, they did.
And they didn't do it, but they've known it was taken off from China and came all the way through. And Blinken was going to China for that meeting. Only way that Blinken quit that meeting and said, no, we're not going, is because that person on Twitter posted it, said, what is this? And it went like to millions of people.
Well, I've seen the same one on TikTok, so I'm not sure where it started at, but it the problem for them is everybody.
Elon Musk knew what it was. I think Elon Musk knew what it was. Waited for his
Elon knows what everything is. He got 7,000 satellites in it.
Well, it's up in the sky. I don't like Elon. I'm just saying that. You know that, Joe. But I'm just going to say
she
this.
hates Elon, y'all.
I love what he's doing to Twitter. I'm a free speech person. I do love that. I
She
don't
would
like
probe
Elon.
him if she could. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a love-hate relationship.
I didn't mean it in a good way either.
When you name your kids letters and numbers, I just don't get that at all. But
that's his women. That ain't him. Don't blame him for what his crazy women do.
He came up with it. He threatened them. I know they did.
No, that's his crazy women.
But he knows what's up in the air. I think he was waiting for the right time for somebody to do that, and then it did. It was from a Twitter post, and it went.
That's right. Blame the woman.
Crazy. It went crazy, and then it started coming out. And only then did Blinken cancel his trip to China. He was still going, and they said that they knew that balloon was over the country 3 or 4 days beforehand. They're lying pieces of shit in the military.
I'm not gonna even argue with their lying pieces of shit, because they are. It's
in the White House.
So
I'm not saying all. I'm just saying the commanders, whoever we have to go to, that's the administration of the military. I don't know. You're military, so you.
So this is the way the story was told to me, and I called a couple of personal friends and some 1 or 2 markers in. So the first story was told. The commander saw it. The NORAD saw it. The NORAD commander saw it in Alaska. He was going to shoot the damn thing down right then and there. Okay, he was just going to shoot it down and be done with it. And I think he was like a colonel. He wasn't even a general. He was a colonel or something. So he was going to shoot it down. But just to be on the safe side, he called one of the generals. General said, "Oh, wait, let's call the White House." So the White House idiots that are 12 years old up there all got together. "Oh no, we better not shoot it down. It's going to fall on something." It's in the middle of Alaska. What's going to fall on? The snow? So I said, okay, I'm going to let that go. Then it crosses into Canada. It's a big, wide open canyon. Nobody lives in half this country. Oh, we ain't going to shoot it down there either. So then it comes into Montana. Ladies and gentlemen.
They call that strip up in Montana something because it's so isolated.
I was just in Montana recently, and Montana people, don't take this the wrong way, because I think y'all are great people. I met a lot of y'all. There's nothing there. I drove for 9 hours and found one town in 9 hours worth of driving. It was all fields and what do you call them things? Gazelles everywhere.
Well, that specific area in Montana, they call it something because there's absolutely nothing there, and I can't remember what it was. It's like 400. There's 400 and some. Yeah, it's 436 miles, I think, because we did crude oil up that way, and really there was no oil fields there. It was just we had to pass through to go to other states. There's nothing there. at all. They could have tear it down there,
So-
but they could have taken it down in the ocean. Or
So,
between
but this
Canada.
state is
Or-
half the size of Texas and has 500,000 people in it. That's it. 500,000. That's like the size of New Orleans, and the rest of it's just nothing. So and the place is huge. I don't, it made no sense. But so then we're going to let this thing pass over, not one, but 3 states' missile silo fields. Now, if this would have had a nuclear weapon in it or some type of EMP weapon, those missiles would be down now. We'd be without those missiles. Then it's worse than that. It passes through NORAD, passes over a couple other facilities, and then it aims itself so it's passing right along the edge of D.C. So it's just scanning away. God knows what it's scanning. A little
bit south to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, so it was right there, close enough that if it would have had a nuclear weapon on board, especially like a 50 kiloton, we would no longer have a Congress, a president, or a vice president because everybody was in D.C. at the time. Everybody. The Senate was in, so you had the Senate and the House were on. They were in session, and the president and the VP were both in.
But they knew it was.
I'm telling you, Butt would have been president, and I would have had to assassinate him. I'm just telling you.
All of them.
Jay and I would have assassinated him.
I can't say that, but I will say they say that they knew it was there. This is a balloon, everybody. This is a balloon that's 3 bus sizes. 3.
Yes, it's huge.
It's huge. It's not one of these little balloons you go at a party and blow up and just go. This is massive.
They're long. They're hundreds of feet long. But the thing is, if it had a weapon on it, we were before it got into the country. We have ways of detecting that. So sophisticated ways of detecting a nuclear device. So had it been, I think it would have been shot down way, way long ago.
Not if it had lead shielding. We would have never known. We'd have never even had a freaking. So, and this is how you know this, okay? And I can prove this to everyone listening right now. I got a couple of friends that work for Yucca Mountain in the WIP facility. So if you don't know what the WIP facility is where all non-nuclear waste material goes in the United States. So Jay's right. We have satellites that scan our country for nuclear material every day, endlessly. They can tell you what hospitals have nuclear waste on board, what have, whatever reactors, whatever stuff they're using there that's radioactive. They can tell you where it all is. They can scan. But if it's just a 3-inch lead shield, they can't tell you what's in it. They can tell you that it's shielded, that there's something that's bouncing it back and it's shielded, but they cannot tell you what's in it. So the problem with all this is here you got something the size of a school bus that could have easily had a 20 or 30 kilo. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the package underneath was size of a school bus. Okay, so you could have easily had a 50 kiloton nuke in there in a box, maybe 2 foot by 3 foot, 2 foot by 4 foot, and just shield the outside of it. And we'd have never known. And all of a sudden there would have been no more DC. And the bitch part is, people, because of that, China could have invaded us and we wouldn't have had time to react because no one would have known what to do. Well, there would have been no leaders.
DC is not even part of America. It's a District of Columbia. Let them take it.
But the problem is there's a chain of command, and the whole chain of command, it wasn't just that the fact that, so your number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6 were all in DC at the same time. If they would have hit us, along with all the House and Senate.
They colluded.
It would have been bad. I mean, who would have ran the country, and who would the American people accept it? But meanwhile, while we're trying to figure this out, China's raining nukes on us, parking ships around us, Russia's attacking
us. My dog can run the country better than Biden right now.
But you got to have somebody that can command the military who they're going to answer to, and that's going to be the hard part.
That's why we got to bring the boss man back. We got to bring Trump back.
Well, if Trump was back, none of it, I guarantee you.
And none of it would have happened.
I'll make a bet here. I'll put $100 up, people. If Trump gets back in office, I guarantee you Putin's war ends within the first year. I guarantee it. He will be like, oh, wait a minute. Did they let the madman back in? No. Wait, Mr. Trump, I'm not trying to conquer Ukraine. We're just going to keep this territory. We're going to go home now. We're going to behave ourselves. I guarantee you won't see anything coming out of North Korea anymore.
Well, I think that if Trump came back, none of this would have even happened. Or if we continue to have Trump, it would have nothing. There's no balloons that ever flew. But what?
No, they flew over with Trump. And the sad part is, so you had Obama had 2. No one ever knew they came over until after they left. Trump had 1. I think it was in the 2nd or 3rd year. Some people said it was 2. Some people said it was 1. Whatever. He had 1, and then Biden's had now 5. 4. I'm sorry.
Really?
4.
Biden's had 4
in this last week.
From China?
Well, they don't know if they're from China.
No.
And China shot down two things.
I'm talking about China.
So this is what's funny. Well, we don't know where they came from.
But what happened was that the first balloon came across, and then NORAD refocused their radar facilities and detected 3 more. But those 3 were actual legitimate, like either like scientific projects or private balloons and that kind of thing, harmless.
That's what they say, but they won't come out and prove it. That's what's going on. That's why the country's so antsy right now.
This is Cold War Part 2.
Well, see, so I've seen 4 different videos on this stuff and some still pics. None of them were balloons. So it really comes down to who's telling us the truth and who's not telling us the truth. So
I don't trust anybody but Putin.
I had one still pic and a video sent to me from a Mountie in Canada. Now this is a pic. He's filming it with his phone. The F-22 breaks, it goes up, it lets the missile loose, and the F-22 folds over, the missile goes up. The missile hits this thing. It actually looks like it glanced off of it, but then this thing just burst into flames, and there's this flames just rolling out. Kind of reminded me of the Challenger shuttle when it blew up, the way the flames were rolling out. But when you looked up to the right, it looked like there was something else that was taken off from it and coming down in somewhere different. Did not look like any balloon I've ever seen. And the wreckage on the ground was one giant cylinder. There was no balloon wreckage anywhere. The cylinder was about 60 to 80 feet long, 20 feet tall, 20 feet wide, roughly. I'm just going by what I could see in the background. And it was mostly intact. Couldn't tell you what it was. Some people think it was, I had put a theory across a few years ago about Omarosa when it came through. I told people when the comet came through, there was a lot of people right when it got close to our sun, they were sighting these things popping off the back of the comet. And everybody just thought they were rocks. But then a gentleman in Australia and a lady in Hawaii got pictures that suggested they were some type of cylinders, and they were on a course for Earth. Now, I hate to think that these things just got here, because it would have took 2 to 3 years for them to get here. And they got in our atmosphere, and the first thing we did was shoot them down. I'm thinking that, well, won't that suck if it's somebody saying hi to us or somebody just taking a look at us? Regardless, none of them are ours. The American government says the last 3 were not Chinese. And now the government's saying the first Chinese one it just went off course. It wasn't meant to come over our country.
Bullshit. That's
what Biden's saying, because he's under so much scrutiny for not shooting it down immediately and letting this thing scan our entire country. I mean, everybody's like, well, we recovered the package. So what damage is done? I said, you ever heard about satellites? It's as it's scanning, it's transmitting to the satellite.
And even laser weaponry. People don't even understand that. Like, they shoot these lasers down that we may not see physically, but it's there, and they will sweep back and forth over land terraces and everything, where they want to put their military, if they want to come over any other way. Like, I went down that rabbit hole with laser weaponry and technology.
This is just microwave, or not even microwave. This is
balloon. The balloon. I mean, what was it scanning? I want to know what's in that balloon. What are they going to find? Package, they're never going to tell us.
According to the package, okay. So this is a couple of things. The first package was supposed to be standard spy equipment. Wait a minute. Wait for this, people. Standard U.S. spy equipment. It even had U.S. writing and U.S. military stamps on it.
Made in the U.S.
Yes, made in the U.S. It was a military part made in the U.S. that the Chinese were using to spy on us. That tells you all you need to know about the freaking government in this country right now.
That's a slap in the face.
It is.
That's a mockery.
But the one that came down over the lake, Heron Lake, Lake
Huron
is what they call it's I forgot the name of it. The Oracle is what it's called, because it's a sphere. It's also for spying.
Here we go.
So, but wait. According to Biden's people, it's not from China. The other two I've heard at least 5 dozen different.
Where's it from? Yeah.
And again, all the other ones shut down were benign, and everybody wants to know why it took a week to tell us. And now, if you listen to Jean Pierre, it's a different story every day.
I don't
first it was benign this and benign that. Now it's like, well, yeah, it might have been benign, but someone might have a little spy stuff into it. 2 of them were not even, and the pilots, they released the pilots on 2 tapes came out. First thing you hear on him, how's this thing staying up in the air? It's not a balloon. That's first pilot you hear. That's the first thing you hear him say is, this is not a balloon, and how's it staying up in the air? He said his words, no mode of locomotion is what he said. couldn't see how it was
kind
staying
of
there,
looked
and then he
weird
shot
too.
it.
It made me think, like, how is it staying in the air? Because when you think of a balloon, it needs some kind of helium or something to keep it up going. Like, it doesn't look like it had any kind of motor that we could see from it.
Well, they have these they're tiny little things, and they don't need much because they're only really steering it left or right. They can't really make it go up or down. The only way they can do that is release whatever air they've got into it, and if they too much, then it's going to crash somewhere. So
it kind of looked really close to the surface from the videos, though.
The one we shot down was at 60,000 feet, the first one, and but the other ones, the reason the other ones got in trouble was because all three of them were in passenger plane zones. From 20 to 40,000 feet.
20 and 30,000 feet.
So we have to shoot them down. We don't have a choice. Jimmy, by the way, the 40,000 feet, they do fly 40,000, but it's reserved, and it's usually for something special, or if there's too much traffic, they may move some of them from between 20 and 30. Well, yeah, they stack them. Planes are always flying over each other all the time. Yeah, it's common. It's if you ever go sit outside and watch it, if you live close to a busy airport, you'll see them. One will be here, one will be 1,000 feet, and 1,000 feet, and then there'll be more trailing behind.
Well, you gotta. People don't understand. You got a lot of Google balloons out there too. Google has.
But there's a lot of balloons out there. There's a lot of all kind of stuff out there. But the problem is most things are tagged, so we know what they are. Like anything, if it comes from the U.S., it has to have a motion tag on it, or whatever they call it. So if it's like Google or the weather company or something like that, it's going to be giving off a transponder signal. So you know it's one of ours. We're not going to shoot it down. We're going to leave it alone because they're constantly. I mean, Noah's flying shit all over the place all the time, man. They're releasing them big, long, tall balloons all over the place. Those weather balloons, you see them all the time coming by. But
weather balloons.
They have transponders on them. But they have transponders so they know what they're. And wait, people, you don't even have to take my word for this. You can go buy Airport Monitor, and it will actually show the transponder signals of the different balloons around the country. Some days there's a lot, some days there's one, but they're out there. You got to look because there's so much air traffic and there's so much. When you go look at the Airport Monitor, it's in real time, and you'll be amazed how much traffic is there. I always tell people the best time to search is later in the evening. You might catch one when they're launching, one early in the morning when there's not as much airplane traffic out there. You might catch them, but it also shows military flights. Even classified flights are shown where it's coming from and where it's going to.
Oh yeah, and real quick, I'm just going to insert this. I've learned a lot about air traffic control and all this stuff from Monkey, and then Works WERX on YouTube. He's phenomenal. He worked in the military and everything. He has all these videos with the balloon stuff. He had a special show says balloons everywhere, and he talks about all the different types of balloons that are out there and what should be suspicious or not. Like, he's really good.
But I mean, that's what I said. They all have transponders on them. Most people, most Americans don't even know they have transponders. They don't even think that far.
He will tell you when the president's in the air, even, and then he will also tell you that the transportation is going down to Gitmo and back, and you will, if you watch him enough, you will see a pattern, and then you will understand that.
Yeah, you don't even have to watch it. Just go buy the software. Go buy the monitor.
You can buy the software, but it helped me to understand. I never worked in the air. I'd done a lot of trucking. I was the vice president of a hauling company, crude oil hauling company. I've done trucking and stuff, but up in the air, and he breaks down the different planes and what they are. He breaks down the military. I love him. He's really good.
Yeah,
so if anybody's interested.
And for the nerds out there and the geeks, you can just go get the monitor software. It's easy. Just remember, when you look at them, it's going to tell you what's commercial right off the bat. It's going to tell you what's military right off the bat. It's going to show you the start point and the end point so you can always track. It's going to show you the time. It's going to show you what's in flight. It'll tell you if it's on the ground waiting to take off or holding this to land. It's great software. We use it. So we use it for sky watching, but we don't just use that. We use JTrack too, which tracks all the satellites in real time. So when someone tells us they had a sighting or we have a personal sighting, first thing we do is look at the Airport Monitor. Was there anything radar? Call the local radar. There's nothing on radar. Look on JTrack. There's nothing on JTrack. Check out the Airport Monitor. There's nothing on the Airport Monitor. Then you might have something. It's a better chance that you've got something then we can eliminate all this stuff.
Is that right? JTrack?
I think it's JTrack. They might have changed the name of it now. They may have changed the name of it by now. It's a NASA program. Yeah, it's just for tracking satellites.
They're going to have to if I want my royalties. They have to change it.
And then I know. And then Oh, while I'm thinking about this, you can, if y'all want, people, you can, besides working for SETI, because anybody can put SETI on their computers. I've got computers that have actually been running SETI for 18 years now. We're talking literally trillions of hours of time that these things have been hacking and cracking. But for the last 10 years, I've been letting them find an asteroid, find age meteor strikes on Mars, how old they are. And it's done by color. It's cool as hell. And sometimes I'll get bored and go watch it and watch it, find out which ones this is and this. And if you find a new one, you get to name it.
Oh, Joe, you need to find a new one. Name it Emily.
I did. I found one. I found one that there's this weird thing we found. So we found it on Google Maps by all damn things. We were looking at Google Maps Mars, which, by the way, if y'all didn't know, there is Google Maps Mars.
I don't believe in Mars. How about that?
But Google Maps got a map of Mars, so it has to exist. But they got this spot on Mars where something came in, and it looks like it might have been an asteroid until you realize it slid in at a nice smooth angle, and it buried itself in. It never went under the ground. It just buried itself, and it's a perfect saucer shape. And you can see something peeking out the other end where it stopped. It's a cool pic. I got it. It's posted on Facebook somewhere. God, it's probably like 5 years ago, but still it's up there. And I may have it somewhere in the computer, but it's cool. It's still on my Google Mars. And wait, Google just doesn't do Mars now. And neither does NASA. You can go to all the different planets in the solar system now that's been mapped by satellites.
Pluto? You can't go to Pluto, can you?
Yeah, if it's been mapped, yeah. If it's been mapped, we can go there.
I don't think they go that far.
We've got enough close flybys to Pluto recently. They can do it for Pluto, sure.
Yeah,
y'all gonna think I don't believe in the planets.
And wait, worse than that, my weather app on my phone will give you the weather on 4 of the planets. I was like, get the shit out of here with this, man. I love this stuff. The planets are a good thing.
I love your mug. Little snowman.
Smiling at y'all saying hi.
I don't believe in planets.
Folgers, by the way, people.
Is that bad of me? I don't believe in planets.
You don't have to believe that, you want to believe, you don't want to
I don't hear very many people talk about it. I just did my own study and research and went down, had my Great Awakening and all that stuff. That was part of that.
But I told you this before. Stop limiting the creator. He's going to bite you in the ass for this.
Yeah, well,
he's going to say, Emily, Joe was right. There's lots of planets.
Well, it doesn't talk about those planets. But, we'll see what Elon comes up with. Okay, Joe?
Elon's going. Look, I wouldn't be surprised. Elon's already been on Mars, man. The man is insane.
Elon is Mars.
He's gonna have.
God.
I guarantee you, he's gonna have another 10 kids.
On, listen. Let me tell you this. El in Hebrew means God with lowercase g, not capital G, not God of Most High, lowercase g. On means above. God above. So no matter, it makes sense that he's doing all this stuff above. And everything, and maybe that's where he'll flourish. But with Tesla and PayPal and stuff, that was all BS. Like he rode coattails for that. So did you take a picture of us?
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't ready.
What do you mean take a picture of us? We're all over the internet on 3 views. Don't worry about the damn picture.
You didn't see me stop
I didn't pose. I thought he was just filming me like I'm making a lot of sense. I need to go back and listen to Emily later, Joe.
I love you, Emily. It's this is for somebody. This is somebody said they couldn't see what we look like, so I said, "Here, I'll send you a picture over."
Oh, Lord have mercy! Here I am with my arms out.
Oh, Dean, no, Trish is with us sometimes, not all the time. Jay's with us sometimes not. It goes back and forth. And then maybe 1 or 2 other hosts joining us from time to time, too. Well, we're adding a lot of hosts on the network. So
they're bored of me. They're bored. They want
No,
else.
So Trish, Emily, we've basically made a host now. Jay's a host too, but we're going to be bringing other people in and out until we find, maybe a happy 4th or 5th or something. No, Carl, you're not going to be a host on the network. Sorry, dude. I've heard you speak. It's not
Carl.
Not because of your name, but no, I've heard you speak now.
That devastated me with The Walking Dead. Carl, when he died, I cried.
Spit my coffee out.
I cried so bad. I couldn't even talk about it. My mom would want to call and talk for 2 days. I can't talk about it. My eyes were swollen and everything, and it changed me. I could not get back into The Walking Dead after Carl died.
Didn't they bring him back?
No. He died. He got bit.
People die all the time. They bring him back. What's that have to do with anything?
My guest tonight was Carl, and every single time I say his name or had to do any marketing and stuff, I'd think of The Walking Dead.
Shame. Let them TV programs get you like that.
TV
is evil, people. Evil.
Yeah, I've never watched those shows, but apparently I look like a guy named Negan.
Negan.
I don't know. Lucille with the bat.
I haven't watched enough to know.
Scroll back, called wire at the top. Yeah.
The Walking Dead and Dexter. Dexter was really hard to get through. The last episode, the last 20 minutes of the last episode of the last season, it took me about 3 or 4 days to get through the last 20 minutes of Dexter. I don't really get into shows that much either, but every once in a while if something comes around. Stranger Things is the other one that I'm big in. Like I will set like Sundays, usually Sundays, and then I try my best not to get on social media to see if anybody's posting anything. But usually I get to watch my shows on Sundays. But those series, Stranger Things, Dexter, and The Walking Dead. But after Carl, I couldn't get into The Walking Dead after that. It was hard. You would think that Rick Grimes, the main character, when he was let go or went into the helicopter with the trash people, like you would think like that would no, it was Carl.
Poor Carl got killed. So I was reading this while y'all were talking. This is that article I was talking about earlier about Joe Biden's China problem just got a whole lot worse. So they're trying to say that it came here by accident. It flew over our country by accident. So wait, the commanders of the different militaries are saying, please don't go there. Whether it's true or not, the country is not going to accept it. He said even the Democrats are not going to accept it. He said if this is an effort by the White House to divert attention from its embarrassing handling of China's recent insurrection, they should think again. This is not going to go over favorably by anybody in the country, including their own party. And it's already bad enough because their party's already calling for better answers then. So I was watching NBC yesterday. So I watched NBC and then I watched Fox. So when they tell you the answer, they're not actually saying anything. One of them said, well, we think it was a technology balloon for this, that. No, wait, what? Well, where is it? Why aren't we seeing it? So this is the real problem. The government has not posted any pictures of any of the other 3 shoot downs or any pictures of what they found in the water.
You know what the government, the White House is posting on Facebook is text messages from Bambi. I go to Facebook and scroll down a little bit. When all this stuff was going on, they were posting stuff about getting text messages, and they can help this United States citizen, and her name was Bambi. We can help you just like we helped Bambi. I'm not joking. I got on there and I was like, is this for real? Am I really reading this from the White House official Facebook page? It's banana. Like it's.
Well, I hear transvestites are coming to Kentucky to teach school.
It wouldn't surprise me, but us Appalachian folk will not put up with that at all.
If the government says you have to, you have to.
At all. And I am not like, if that's how you want to be, that's how you want to be, but it's not happening. You're not going to groom our children here. You're not. You will. Let me tell you, you will not survive in Kentucky. You will not survive in West Virginia. Well, it might survive in northern Ohio, but down closest to us, it won't. No.
Well, I noted from the Dust Belt down, you really haven't seen this try to be implemented. They haven't tried to force any weird teaching of weird racism in the country, and they haven't tried to force this. Let the transvestite can read to your kids. That's really in the Northeast and out west. Really, the rest of the country is like no, and no. Especially after we seen Biden's guy who got fired for his transvestite. They got fired for stealing people's luggage. Really?
Oh yeah, he was in court the other day, and
he's a freak. Don't get me a transvestite. He's a freak.
I hate to say it. Most men that want to be females, most men, you do not see this with women that feel like they're men. On 90 Day Fiance, the other way, like going to the other countries, for the first season, there is a female that's a male, like totally looks like a male. Like, I was mind blown when I seen her or him. And I was like, there's no way. But you don't see that from that side. These men that become women and they call us cisses, CIS, that makes my blood boil. And they buy tampons.
I don't want to know what they're doing with them. Some things I don't need to know.
I don't agree with that. I'm a woman. I'm proud to be a woman. We create a man. Like we are here to, and in women's sports, and in these guys. And what's his face? The swimmer. That one.
You gotta love Bruce Jenner.
No, not Bruce Jenner. This last one. Have you seen his stuff? Listen, him and his boyfriend, which is also a transgender female, they cut off one part of their male organs, and I'll just say it right here. I'm sorry, the balls. Okay, they cut off their balls. They castrated themselves, and they save them in a jar, and they expect this guy to change his clothes and everything in the locker room with these other professional females. And it goes much darker than that. And I can't say what it is, but look it up. Let me find
there's some crazy shit that goes on in it. That somewhere along the line that, well, my problem's always been the same thing. There should be equality for everybody in the country. I agree with that. I'll never disagree with that. But as a majority, we're not here to serve. We're here to go on with our lives. So anytime that whatever's going on has to pull down the rest of the country, then you're not doing it right. Okay, you want to be transgender? Fine.
Leah Thomas is who I'm talking about. Leah Thomas. That's the transgender man that became a woman. And he swam on the men's teams for years and years and years. He won a gold medal.
What is with these swimmers that want to go girl? I don't even want to. I don't
even care.
I'm just saying.
Here's my thing. If they want to compete, start their own leagues, because I was a 7th, 8th grader. We didn't even have NBA or WNBA growing up. For me, I was ranked 6th in my state of Kentucky at 3-point shots. I wanted to be the first woman in the NBA, and we came so far about this. We came so far in women's sports to have to present ourselves and have these different divisions and be prominent in sports, with soccer, with tennis, with tennis was around before that, but basketball, and some of these sports. And then for men to want to come over, if you want that, then form your own freaking division.
Well, they want to win, and that's the best way to win. It's not a fair competition, but that's the best way to win.
And I kind of blame Bruce Jenner in a lot of ways, because he took that women's award. What was that in the magazine? Woman of the Year, Athlete of the Year, away from a true woman. And he hadn't played sports in 30 years or 40 years.
Yeah, Jay.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. So Caitlyn Bruce Jenner comes out of the closet as Caitlyn Jenner, and the award, and I don't remember what the award was, but it was a prestigious award, a big award. And it was going to be given to the first African-American female to have won this award. But at the 11th hour, they did a 180. They give it to Caitlyn Jenner, who's actually a man that hasn't done anything sports-wise. I mean, sure, maybe he rides an Excite bike when he's at home. He rides a stationary bike for exercise. But he hasn't done anything publicly sports. He hasn't been a sports guy since the 1980s. Yep. He hasn't done a thing for sports. Yet they give him this award that is to give a woman recognition for her contributions to female sports. He's not a female. He hasn't done sports in 40 years, but he gets this stupid reward. I'm not even
like a Nobel Peace Prize for Obama. That's liberals. I mean, come on. You give the Nobel Peace Prize to the guy who's got 2 wars going on?
It's participation trophyism is what it is.
It is.
Oh,
but it's a participation trophyism is what's going on here. So
that's what it is. But that's the list. But think
because they're different.
That's how liberals work today. So they do that kind of stuff because they think they're doing the right thing. They've gotten to the point now where, it's just anything that's opposite or crazy. That seems to be what they want to do. They don't really seem to have the country's best interest in heart anymore. It's really about the power. It's not about what's going on. If they're okay with men and women's sports, that's an issue with them right there. They're not thinking about the women at all. And then they do things like, and then they're total racist because they've been hiring based on sex and color. So Buttigieg got the job because he's gay. Mom already said that.
Well, the Supreme Court lady too.
She got it because she was black. Kamala got it because she was black. And
she's Indian.
Yeah, she's Indian, my ass. And Jean Lepre got it because she's gay and black. So first off, when Biden got up there and said, I'm going to get a black woman for the vice president. Okay. Right off the bat, the country should have got pissed and said, well, wait a minute. We need the best person, not the best color. So this is what the liberals have become. It's all about the first. It's not about who's going to do us the best job. That's what happened with Obama. They was so in a hurry to get a black president in that they just rushed Obama, who could have been a good president. They just didn't give him time to grow. I mean, he went from a community organizer to president of the most powerful nation in the world in 6 months or in a year. So, I mean, you just know, man, he never had a prayer. The GOP ate him alive. I mean, and then you got people like Nancy Pelosi, read the bill, then pass. I mean, pass the bill, then read it. Really? I mean, come on. Yeah, that is your liberal party today. That's it. All you need to know about the liberal party today. No, Gina, I'm a centralist, so I can get on both sides. And I got my problems with the GOP, too. We're not talking about that right now, though. It's the problem here is liberals have gone to this point and they don't know how to turn around. They don't know how to be part of the country. Like they got mad when the GOP were fighting about who was going to be the new leader of the House. Well, that's part of the job. You should be fighting about who's going to be the leader of the House. You don't want to just hand it over. You want to give it to the best guy. And you want to make sure that it's going to help your constituents out the best. But people just don't realize it anymore. They freak out and they do whatever. And the liberals just want to go ahead and do things based on that. So in this country, in case you didn't know, hiring based on sex or color is completely illegal and carries a decent, you can get jail time for it and you can get the crap suit out of you for it. All because what? You're hiring based on color. And then what bothers me about this even more is the liberals seem to be blind. They're colorblind. So, all right, they're all helping blacks anytime they can. They're screwing them a lot of times too, but there's always black. Well, what about Hispanics? What about Orientals or Asians? What about Native Americans? If anybody got screwed in this country, it's the Native Americans. So, I mean, we're not going to talk about that. It's like when people tell me we need gun control, but we don't need car control. Okay. So y'all understand this. More people die by cars every year than by guns. But what's worse than that, guns don't really maim that many people. Cars maim an estimated 215 to 250,000 people every year in our country. They kill somewhere between 30 and 50,000, and they maim way more than guns could ever do. But we're worried about the gun, but we're not worried about the person driving the automobile, and which recently we have seen automobiles being used as weapons. And I said this in the beginning, even if you get rid of guns, the criminals are still going to find them. And who somebody who wants to kill you that don't have a gun, they're going to poison you, they're going to blow you up, or they're going to run you over. Look at Timothy McVeigh, took a whole building out. Yeah, with some fertilizer. And you think because you take away guns that murders are going to stop. It's not going to happen. You're eliminating the wrong problem. You got to eliminate the problem that's causing people to want to go kill other people. It's not the gun. The gun don't go, Shay, go kill such and such. No, it's the person. It's the individual. Again, guns don't kill people. People kill people. So, unless you pull that trigger, that gun's not going to do anything. It's just going to lay there. Wait, I was going to show you. Martha's usually behind me, but she's on vacation today. So we have to keep that in mind. And it comes right back. Yeah, no, Chris. No, it's true. Obama, it's just like with the Supreme Court. He said, I'm going to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. Now, is this woman the best person for the job? Was there no black man out there a better job? Was there no white Asian woman out there a better job? Why didn't he put an Asian woman on the court? Why didn't he put a Jewish woman on the court? Why didn't he put a Muslim woman on the court? He could have put one of them crazy Mahmoud Hadid girls on there, but he didn't. He said, I'm going to put a black woman on the court. Like blacks are the only minority in our country. Why didn't he say, let me put a Native American person on the court? I'm just saying these things because all this is true. And Native Americans feel that way. Hispanics feel that way. Asians feel that way. Jews feel that way. Why are we on the court? Why are we being represented? No, it's about the whites and the blacks, and that's it. It's like no one else exists in our country. And of course, whites are going to get propped because whites are 69% of the population. But still, I don't hear Hispanics.
Oh, they want to keep the black population deprived. They want to keep them in low poverty. They want to keep them.
They're not even doing that anymore. They've gotten to the point where they're trying to buy votes, just like they're doing with the immigrants. They're trying to buy votes.
That's why there's an open border.
Yeah, but now what they do is like, see, in New Orleans is actually trying. So pre-Katrina, we had some really nasty projects down there. I mean, you didn't want to go down there, and if you were white, first thing a cop's going to ask you is, what the hell are you doing down here? You stupid. Because I used to deliver to two of them. And it's just now the projects are gone. They built these really nice condominiums, and some rich people live in them, some poor people live in them, some people on Section 8 live in them. They're clean. The pools are clean. There's no graffiti on anything. There's no crime amongst them. And they've changed it. And it's brought down the crime where those neighborhoods used to be. But still, in the other neighborhoods, people are still killing people. And in New Orleans, it's black on black, white on white. It's rarely tourists. It does happen from time to time. But if you kill a tourist, the whole police force is coming for you. They do not. They frown on killing tourists big time. So the whole police force is coming.
Speaking of police, those 5 police officers that killed the 5 African American police officers that killed the one guy. Have we heard anything else about that? In Tennessee, was it in Tennessee? It was Tennessee, wasn't it?
All I've heard was they all pled innocent. That was the last I heard.
I still couldn't find them on payroll. So if anybody if you researching that case, because I'm going to start doing true crime stuff. If you're researching that case and you can find them on the payroll, message me. I want to know. I can't find them.
They it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird the way some of that stuff worked out. Oh, I keep stepping on this damn lamp down here. I gotta move this thing. I'm trying to figure out how.
Speaking of that, what's his face filed an appeal for George. What was the guy? I hate to say
George Floyd.
George Floyd Chavez. Is his last name Chavez, right?
Oh, I don't know. I'd be lying if I said yeah.
Hold on. He filed. Chauvin. Derek Chauvin. He filed an appeal. And everything that's coming on, and then we have Candace Owens that did that documentary. Did you watch that documentary? It's super interesting. It had a lot of great information in it. It's a setup. It was all a freaking setup. And that the scandal that went behind Black Lives Matter movement, which I followed the money. I followed the money way before that, and they were the #1 donor for Biden for president. And the parallel of I Can't Breathe Foundation was mind blowing. I posted that everywhere. I did a video on it, and obviously it got taken down, and I got banned.
Yeah, well, the thing with so Black Lives Matter was a weird thing. So I've done press for Black Lives Matter. Local chapters are actually pretty good, to be honest with you. So this is really weird, though. I'm invited to Hattiesburg, Mississippi to do press for Black Lives Matter. I drive up there. Got the boss lady with me, pull up. We're getting out. A friend of mine comes out, a black gentleman I know, and we're talking about what we're going to do. So no black people showed up. None. It was all, and I mean, this looked like rednecks out of the middle of Mississippi rednecks. Like if you were black, you didn't want to be around them because something bad might happen to you. But don't get me wrong. It was 200 or 300 of them showed up, and they had their pics and their pictures and all, and they're out there chanting, for Black Lives Matter, but there was not a black person out there. So he invites me to the one in Jackson, Mississippi. Same thing. About 500 people showed up. No black people showed up at all. None. And when I went into the neighborhoods with him and interviewed people, they said the same thing. They were scared to show up. They all said we didn't want them to get our faces and know who we were. So it's pretty rough still in the middle of Mississippi. Southern Mississippi's fine. It's not hardly any racist down here. Matter of fact, there are more gay couples and lesbian couples down here per capita than anywhere else in the country. Married couples, I mean. So it's kind of a weird thing, but the Mississippi, middle of Mississippi. So he invites me down to the one in New Orleans. I show up to the one in New Orleans. First thing I hear, "What you doing down here, white boy?" I flip out the media. "Oh, you meaty, man. That's it. Everybody's around your ass." It didn't matter. I mean, Martha was on my side anyway. I don't go anywhere without her, but I'm out there, and Martha stays with me. She's my baby, and it's clipped in it. It's in it right now. It's 34 rounds. So
you gotta have T-shirts.
So don't screw with Martha.
I carry Martha.
That's right.
You don't want to meet Martha.
Well, I open carry Martha. You can plainly see Martha's right there. But so anyway, I'm talking to all these people. And it was a great rally. It was a lot of fun. So they're pissed because they're not getting any money. Okay, so then you got two other Black Lives Matters in this country. You've got Black Lives Matter USA and Black Lives Matter International. Well, International was just completely thieves. It's all they were.
I didn't even know that it went international. I thought
but they were
that would be
completely thieves. So they went. That was and the girl who was also in the one in the U.S. who bought the 4 houses and did all the other stuff.
Millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, so all that money got pissed away.
Deal.
So in some ways, BLM kind of folded in on itself because of that. I mean, they couldn't trust the people. If you
followed the money in the very first beginning of it, where you go to their page and it was yellow and black and white, which was eye-catching, but then it says donate blue and white. So you click the blue and white to donate. It was Blue Access Foundation or whatever that handles those funds. So you donate, and that's who takes in the money, which was also the #1 donor for Biden for president. So then you go, so you see the first time that they they send a check in for Biden for president, and you see the last time. All the transactions are there. Everybody can go look this up yourself.
Yeah, 501(c)(3) they have to.
So the first transaction and the last transaction, and then go to I Can't Breathe Foundation, which is the one that pushes all this, white police officers killing black police officers. And you can see a difference from an election year based off any other year. And you can see when it started with the first check and the last check. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
Well, it's not money went in, but nobody knows where all of it went.
It's just where they're saying this person was killed, this person was killed, this person was killed. Like you would have 20, 30 people dead in a year of an election based off a year before the election where you had 5.
Well, what is it? I forgot now. So I'd have to go look to be sure, but usually about 800 or 900 blacks get killed by cops every year. About 17 or 1800 white people get killed by cops every year. It might be higher than that, actually, guys. It's been a while since I checked. We haven't done a show in 3 years. So those numbers are at least 3 years old. Now, by saying that, very few of them become this mess we're talking about right now, the George Floyd, or, it's funny, or I shouldn't say funny, but a friend of mine, he said, yeah, I call into the Black Information Network all the time. I call in regularly there. And,
you do?
Yeah, and I call in regularly. For a long time, they thought I was. A lot of people think I'm black, by the way. When they meet me, they're like, "Wow, you're white." I'm from New Orleans. I got a cool ass accent, So sometimes some of my colloquialisms make me sound that way sometimes. And so I call in a few times. "Oh, you can't say you're white. You're black. There's no way. You're just trying to screw us." Because I tear them up. I call and tear them up all the damn time. And because there's some racist SOBs on there sometimes. But working with them, taught me that a lot of them are just in it for what we're in it for, just in everyday life. They don't really give a shit what color you are. They just want to live. They just want to live like we do.
They need to have the opportunity. I will say this, though. This comes from the Democrat Party and me researching all this stuff and the testing and stuff like Fauci and everything with AIDS and all those vaccines and stuff in the 80s and 90s. They tested on the black community, and there is a game plan. Trump helped the African-American black population come out of that in many ways, but they want to keep them deprived, and that's not right. Like I've done so many numbers with them, and I love
all of those people. Well, let me rephrase it. All those families deserve reparations, and some of them are starting to get them. Some of the chickenpox experiments, some of the other the whatchamacallit, they were giving them. I forgot what the shot was they were giving them.
It's AIDS and stuff. Wasn't
No,
it?
no, this is before AIDS. No, they were doing this.
Okay.
This goes back into the 30s and 40s and 50s, and they were giving them a sickle cell. That's what it was. And,
that's it. It was sickle cell.
So those families should all get reparations. They really should. I mean,
they gave them syphilis in the 50s, and
yes, they did the syphilis too. There was a lot of stuff where blacks were used as guinea pigs. So those families should all be given reparations. I mean, I don't know how you figure out who's who and how you're going to do it, but they all deserve reparations. No one should be treated like that.
I mean, they do that to orphans. They do that to orphans too in our country.
Yeah, but there's no way to go back and help these people other than financially, because most of the people who were involved are probably dead now.
Yeah, but most of them aren't even here. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a hard thing. It's like, well, it's a good friend of mine the other day. He goes, I wish my friends would stop asking for reparations. He said, it's going to start a problem in this country that, the white people are going to get pissed about.
I'm not going to get pissed about it. Like, I know that research, and I know it. They deserve that. They need that.
But the problem is so this is what the real problem is.
Much rather our money to help our American people than freaking Ukraine.
So they want to be given reparations based on that their great-great-great-grandfather was a slave. Okay, when their great-grandfather was released, he got 40 acres and a mule. Today, 40 acres and a mule would be around $400,000.
Well, I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about how they were probed and
yeah. Well, all those families deserve it. I mean, they should get reparations.
They deserve that because.
But finding out who they are.
We're all slaves in other aspects of life.
Yeah. Well, so.
Our history was whitewashed a lot too, because there's a lot of things
would change and moved around, but the problem is you'd have to find these clinics and all these ghettos, like in New York and LA and places like that, even in New Orleans, where they were doing these experiments, because that's what it would be, and they were doing in the clinics in the ghettos. That's what it was going on at. You'd have to find these people, and you'd have to find the records to find out who they are to give them reparations, or to give their grandkids or great grandkids reparation. But somebody should get it, because they should have never been treated that way.
They should never have been treated like
nobody
in the American population should have been treated that way.
But think about this: when you say that, think about this: the Native Americans were treated 10 times as worse,
and they're still being treated bad.
They're still being treated bad. So
Native Americans, bad.
No, Bobby. Yeah, some Native Americans got a little money. Some got the casino. Some got the uranium. But the majority of them don't.
Look at how many Native Americans go missing every year.
Look how many have never graduated high school. I mean,
look at all the schools that these bodies are coming up that they found out that these kids died, or they killed them off and they buried them and stuff. Like the Native American, I guarantee this. I'm going to say this: in these big, huge places, Alaska and all these other places that they have these big, huge locations where people go missing. Look up how many of those people go missing that is actually Indian. What's the other term they use for not Native American? They use another indigenous, not Aborigines, indigenous people.
Aborigines, Australia.
I know. Well, it's kind of America too.
But there are other things you can look at as well. If you look at what ethnicities have the highest rate of alcoholism and suicide and depression, I bet you Native Americans are going to be top of that list.
Well, and that's
way above blacks and Hispanics and Asians, etc.
So this is the real problem here. You'd have to give Native Americans reparations. I mean, not just that. We took all their territory from them. We gave them reparations for taking their. I mean,
we gave their children blankets covered with smallpox.
I know. I mean, we killed tens of thousands of them. So I mean, we'd have to give reparations for all that. And then let's not forget all the Irish slaves we brought over in the very beginning, because people didn't know this. But originally, the first wave of slaves were white Irish. They were not black.
They were.
And then, worse than that we brought the Chinese over to do the railroads. So all these people we're talking about, there's no way our country could even do this. It would bankrupt us. We would be just a completely bankrupt nation. Now, the problem is the past is the past and the future is the future. The only thing we can really do now is to turn our country into a country that recognizes all of this and moves forward and treats everybody equally. But trying to go back and give everybody representations that deserve them, and then wait, and it even gets worse than this, because the Egyptians, the Romans, and the Greeks enslaved white people for 2,000 years. So if we're going to talk about reparations for this,
how about Jewish people?
That's what I'm saying. So Everybody in this world has been a slave at one time or another.
We're still slaves, but
it just puts it so America can't, we can't.
Just imagine this. We sent billions to Ukraine, and hopefully we're going to talk about Ohio, what happened here, because it's 2 hours from me, and it's devastating.
Yeah.
On
so
many
we're going to talk about it.
But
yeah.
It's I never thought that would ever happen, honestly, but it's been devastating. But we send this billions and billions of freaking dollars to Ukraine. Imagine if we just gave more than our population here in the United States. Imagine if we gave $1 million per person. I don't care how they spend it. Like, give it back to that's going to, hopefully they go to stores. Hopefully they can buy groceries. Hopefully it'll boost the economy.
Sure. I'd have to do my math to be 100% sure, but that's about $30 trillion. We can't afford that.
There's $30 trillion people here in the United States.
No, 1 million per 350 million people is about, it might even be more than 30 trillion.
Well, how about just 100,000 then?
How about 1 million per family?
Or 1 million per family. That would be great. Imagine doing that.
That would help at least cut it down to about 20 trillion. But it's just, that's the real problem. And we've given away, look, our deficit is $32 trillion. So we could have already, but this is the real problem with that. I used to bitch about this all the time. And then I figured this out. So some miracle.
331 people live in the United States. Million, sorry.
350 something million actually now. But
that's not, well, this was 2021, so I don't have 2022. 331.
But the problem is this is what the real problem is. So you get $1 million, right? Every country gets $1 million. So this goes from $3 to $25. So this little Coke I got in my hand right here, that used to be a nickel, which is now $1, will now be $30 when you have everybody has
so they're going to upgrade the prices.
That's what's going to happen.
That's bullshit.
So, but this is even worse. Think about this. So before women got the right to vote and got into the workforce, one man could raise a family of 4, buy a house, a boat, a car, go on vacation, live a normal life. One guy by himself. That ain't happening today. Unless you're one of high up in a very high end profession, that's not going to happen. It takes 2 to have a family today. My wife and I both made good money, and it was still tight.
I made good money as a single mom, and I'm still tight.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not the same as
let me tell you this. I'm comfortable where I'm at. If I had a husband here, I pay all my bills and stuff, all his things. Hopefully, he's not that big debt. That'd just be extra. We'd be traveling then. No. But I don't have that as a single mother. I make good money, but I want
my damn reparations. Look, I'm part Native American. I want my damn reparations here. I'm not having this shit.
I want my reparations.
That's right. And I got Irish and Italian. I mean, I got Italian. I mean, too. I want all my damn reparations. What's going on here? That's the real problem. That's the real problem. When you start talking about reparations for anybody, because that's the Democrats think. Well, we need to give reparations to 13% of our population. Actually, 14% of our population.
Let me tell you this: if I was ever president or anything like that,
it's about 30 million people.
I would be giving back to the American people way before I would do anything in foreign affairs. What was it? George Washington said something about that. He warned us against two-party system, and he warned us against being involved in foreign affairs. George Washington.
We should have a 3-party system minimum.
I don't think we should have any party. I think we should eliminate both parties. A third party will never be successful.
Actually, there used to be a third party for a long time.
I'm libertarian.
But a third party. But you got to have a middleist or a centralist party, because in reality, the majority of Dems and the majority of Republicans are in the middle. They're not way far left or way far right. So if all of them joined a centralist party, that would give them the control. So what would happen in this country is you would now have a party.
Patriot party.
You now have a party that was looking for the United States, for the people. And the only time you would see the liberals or the GOP get any control is when this party needed to change something in the United States and needed one party or the other to do it. But they would actually hold the line instead of going, oh, we're going to go so far left. I don't understand the Dems or the Republicans. They just go to extremes now. It's like, let me see how extreme I can go.
It won't hold the line because we've had that opportunity with the third party system. It's just never been
100 years. No, when the Whigs and all were here,
we still have the independent run.
No, independents are not a party, and independents are a joke. They're not a party. They're independent. That's what they are. Each independent thinks differently from the other.
I'm so sick of the people that vote straight Democrat, straight Republican. It's BS, and you don't think, and you don't pray, and you don't.
But that's what would happen if you put in a centralist party. That would take that away.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, it would take it away. And they're actually working on it now.
Jay, look at him down there. Love his heart.
Jay's a libertarian.
I'm libertarian.
If I could, I would. If I could be, I would have registered libertarian. But but Joe's right. The other parties, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and there's 3 or 4 other independent ones out there. They don't win on any large scale. So they don't win Senate seats. They don't win. You know, they might win 1 or 2 representative seats, but what they're winning is at the county level. They're getting into county seats,
and it proves a point.
You know,
we could have a party in this country because the majority of people in this country are not Republicans or not Democrats. The overall majority of people in this country are not Republicans. Oh yeah, no.
I don't know about that.
The Democrats are like 22% or 25%, and I think the Republicans are about 23%.
Well, if that's the case, then they should not be voting straight ticket.
Well, that's what they vote. They vote their own ticket, and then they talk their friends into voting a ticket. But the problem is the rest of the country's not voting. So the last vote was a big one. The last election was big. It was a big turnout.
Have been pretty bad.
The last one was a big turnout. I mean, it was record setting for both the Republicans and the Democrats. There was a lot of people.
Are you talking presidential?
Yeah, it was like 170 million people turned out.
Well, are you talking about mail-in votes?
No, I'm talking about votes in general.
Talking about like 1/3 of the country.
Yeah.
But
I heard 3 mail-in votes mailed to me in Kentucky.
Yeah, well, that don't even surprise me there.
Think about if we had 100% voter turnout. What do you think would happen?
Yeah.
Oh, Trump would have won by
judging by the maps and at the county levels, not the big city level, but at the counties in the central parts of the states. Every state is almost 100% red. It's only these small little pockets around big cities,
Detroit,
2 or 3 counties, 2 or 3 counties, 5 or 6 counties per state that are winning the elections for the Democrats. What would happen if 100% turnout happened? Who's got the more voters? That's one of those parties has more voters than anyone else.
You can't sit here. We're 2-3 years into Biden. He got more votes than Obama and more votes than Hillary. That's bullshit. Like, I was watch his stuff. And like he had little seats with circles around him at his little meetings and stuff, and Trump didn't care about that. He had these big packed out things. Like there's no way.
Trump had record Hispanic turnout, record Black turnout, and record turnout, and he still lost.
He proved this minority. So if I was Mexican coming over to this state, I'm going to. If I'm an immigrant, I'd be like, you know what? I'm watching this. Hopefully they watch it. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come through this because this is the land of honey. And I'm coming over here and I'm going to vote Trump if he gets that GOP.
Well,
I was Mexican.
Maybe he'll run as
but the problem with Trump is not because of him losing. He also pointed out serious fraud in our voting system. Serious fraud.
I don't think
there's no way that he lost that election, and he proved it. But the problem is that it cannot be unturned.
It's going to the Supreme Court now for the second time.
They can't overturn it. But Biden,
it's too late anyway.
They can't overturn it. It's done. So the voter fraud thing has to stop, and the way to stop it is you just have to stop the absentee voting.
Yeah,
the mail-in and the
I think the only time absentee voting is if you're military.
I don't even think you should do that. They're on a military base. They can go to a military facility and vote.
Well, how about if they're overseas? Is what I'm saying.
You don't have to do
if they're overseas and they're on position or something like that overseas.
Well, if you're out on a mission, okay, maybe you don't get to vote. But if you're on a base deployed in Germany or Italy, you should be able to walk into a barracks that's been turned into a voting facility for the day. You vote, done with. The problem with the voting fraud is that we're not taking photo IDs.
Oh, that's
Most
true.
states do not require you to show a photo ID. If I want to go to a bar and buy, I'm 56 years old. I go to the bar 3 blocks from my house. The guy carded me the first time I was there to buy a drink, an alcoholic beverage. But they don't charge you to vote for the most powerful position in the country.
Well,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it should stop. At every voting facility, you should show up in person with a photo ID, identify yourself, vote, and leave.
I didn't have that problem in Kentucky. They've always taken my ID, but I've had friends. Actually, the majority election inspector in Philadelphia, Allison Ben. I've interviewed her a couple times. She was a Democrat and became Republican because of the fraud, and she's trying to pull it all out and show people. And she actually is testifying, or has testified against Larry Krasner there in Pennsylvania, which is Pennsylvania. I just say that state belongs to George Soros. Now, like, you got Larry Krasner, you got Josh Shapiro. Both of them are heavily funded by George Soros. And then, the City of Brotherly Love, that's where like the first pile of bricks show up for any kind of riots. But and then I have Ben Vonderheide. He has a website and everything exposing Josh Shapiro and all the crazy stuff he does. I've had him on my show. Well, the Beast System is the other show I have, is the political show, which is AKA the BS. But Pennsylvania, in many aspects, in my opinion, is probably the most corrupt other than California. And I'm not even saying Arizona. Like, Arizona's probably third. Pennsylvania is up there.
We're gonna have to see what this
that's why they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Well, and I have to agree with you, but going back to the show we did on the election, when I was watching the maps, I had 4 Google Maps up, or 3 Google Maps, one for the governor race, one for the senator race, one for the House of Representatives race, and just the amount of red across, and the maps were differently laid out, but as the votes went across the country, you could see them starting off red, and all this red. And it's just, it boggles my mind how so many small pockets of democratism, or Democrats living in small, concentrated areas in big cities, is enough to overwhelm the rest of the country.
Well, because look at it this way.
It's the whole country. It's all.
Yeah, but look at it this way. So the Northeast, which is going to vote blue, there's almost 70 million people living there. And then when you go out west, you got 40 million in California alone. So, between those two areas, they're already pulling 120, 130 million votes out of 300 million votes. So they've got a big jump right off the bat. The Republicans always have to work harder because New Orleans is going to vote blue. Atlanta's going to vote blue. All the major big cities are going to vote blue. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why they vote blue, because they got the worst crime, worst economies, and they keep voting blue. That's what's got to make you wonder.
Well, with Pennsylvania, real quick, because this is in news, Fetterman, he's for depression. So they say. I don't think it's depression.
Oh, I called this when this election was going on. On one of the shows, I said, look, I said Fetterman's going to win, and then he's going to get sick, and either his wife's
going to win.
I said either he's going to get sick, and he's going to get sick, and either his wife's going to take his seat over, or the governor's going to do a new seat. The governor's already talking about doing a new seat, giving him a new seat. Now the Republicans are going, no, it's not even been a year, so they think that it should be a new election.
Or a new election?
No, they don't want Oz.
I don't want Oz either. Oz is weird.
There was a couple of candidates I didn't understand why.
I'm sitting here telling him
I like what's his name.
My state.
I didn't like Oz. I think Oz is just a cheesy bastard.
Oz is with the spirit cooker.
And then,
and he may be a goofy neo, health nut doctor dude. But he's educated.
Snake oil salesman is what he is.
He may be a snake oil salesman. He may be selling gin and tonics to cure everything, but he isn't brain damaged.
He ain't brain damaged, that's for sure. But still, he wasn't the guy. And when they polled people in Pennsylvania, they all said basically the same thing. He hadn't lived in the state long enough to vote for him. That's what their biggest bitch was. Mm-hmm. So they didn't feel comfortable. And then we go to Georgia. Look, I love Herschel Walker. He's a great football player.
Oh,
no political experience at all. running up against a guy who had serious political experience, lots of money,
abuser is what he is.
And he put on a good race, but he was also the wrong guy for that seat. When it comes to senators, it's different, and I think the Republicans have forgotten this. When it comes to the House, you can put up any moron like that Santos guy up north. It doesn't matter. It's
like Emily Mitt's house in Kentucky.
Well, the House is the people. Let's not forget the House is for the people. So you want a big majority of crazy, weird people in there because it's the House. The Senate, though, is supposed to be treated with respect, and it's supposed to be a higher level. It's the next level of our government, and that's what it's supposed to be. Well, Fetterman or Oz really didn't portray that, and neither did Herschel. They didn't have that kind of class. They should have been in the House, not in the Senate. The House, that's what the House is for. The House is to represent me and you and everybody else in this country. That's why when it's all lawyers, we never get represented. It needs to go back. In the old days, the House was farmers and doctors and just all kind of people, and they did a much better job of running the country.
Now it's lawyers.
Now it's 80% lawyers, yeah. But they're trying to change it. I got to give them credit. They're trying to change that. But it's two different parties. I mean, it's two different houses, and one works one way and one works the other way. And the GOP forgot. They want class people, or mostly class people in the Senate. Fetterman, I don't know what the deal is with Fetterman. I guess because Oz just sucks, but
no, he George Soros. George Soros put him in. And Fetterman, honestly, I can kind of believe his depression, possibly anxiety too, because I think this job is too much for him to handle.
Yeah, it's too much.
I think
the man just had a stroke. He should be resting the next freaking year.
Well, I think that he thought that these people that pushed him and put him in the forefront was going to be there for him for long term, and they're not.
Yes, and he's also upset because he thought Jay was going to be his, friend.
Jay
said, "No, I don't swing that monkey, buddy. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't swing from that side of the plate.
Jay, you got to be a secretary. Come on.
See, that's what I said. Jay don't swing on them monkeys, man.
We got to infiltrate the office. Like, you got to get in there.
We'll save that for somebody else we know that lives up in PA. Because we got a lot of hosts up. We got a lot of hosts.
Oh, tons of them. I'm sorry. I called that, Jay. I called it last week.
What?
That the Chiefs was going to win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Weren't you here?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, I said
it was going to come down to a last minute play too. I said it was going to come down last minute, and 16 years, right? 16 years, right on the
first
time.
And I
never watched the season game.
And also, it wasn't a crappy game. I only got to see
it was a really good game,
half of it, but it wasn't a blowout on one end or the other. It was a fairly even game. They were fairly well matched, and I
like the Philly guy.
One of my teams anyway, so I could care less.
I like the Philly guy when he said he made a mistake. He fessed up, and because all of a sudden it was a bad call. It was this? It was that? And the guy came out from Philly and said, "No, I screwed up. I grabbed his shirt. I gave him the game. I'm the one that put him in field goal range. I'm the one that screwed up." And he fessed up, and it's like Joe Burrows when he was talking with your boy from not Minnesota. Where they at? From Kansas City. He said, "No, man, you played a great game. We were good. These guys are friends. They're highly competitive, but he had nothing but praise for the team. You just don't hear that in the NFL anymore. So it's nice to see these younger guys coming up going, hey, look, we're going to change. But yet we got Alvin Kamara from New Orleans that might be going to jail for beating the living shit out of somebody in Las Vegas. They indicted his ass today and 3 other football players.
We got Kim Zolciak or whatever from I can't remember her husband's name, from the Atlanta Falcons. That their house is going into foreclosure. That she was super, super. I don't know. I watch reality TV. Everybody, Kim Zolciak.
See, this poll has Trump 46% and Santos 23%.
Santos?
So a couple things real quick. So Sarah Palin asked DeSantis not to run this time. He said, why don't you go ahead and finish your term as governor, let Trump, because Trump can't run after this, and then you can come run and be president. Now, Ann Coulter tore up Nikki Haley and told her go back from where she came from. She's not even really black. Who
listens to Ann Coulter anymore? I don't even listen to her.
I don't. I just heard it. It came over the radio today, and she's just ripping them up. And she's on NBC talking about it. And I was like, okay. So most people don't know Nikki's an immigrant. Well, she's not an immigrant. Her parents are immigrants. They're from India, and she's Indian. And she said this. She said, and like these liberals even understand. She said, I was too brown to play with the white kids and too white to play with the black kids. She said, but you would think since the Liberal Party is supposed to be the party of understanding, they would understand this.
I don't understand anything.
And then Don Lemon, of all people, comes out and makes this sexist statement about it. And then he don't even think about it. But now even the liberal women are on his ass. Going, what are you doing? She couldn't have paid for this commercial. This is how much he helped her right there. So, and you might see her is Trump's VP.
Who is it again?
Nikki Haley. She's governor right now, but she could.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
I mean, I want me to tell you this as a woman, and I want to talk about Ohio though in a second. As a woman, I come from a background of business, accounting. I've held vice president positions in companies and everything. And please, women out there, do not hate me when I say this. I'm honest. This is my honest opinion right now. I will never vote for a woman as president. Vice president, yes. Woman as a president, no. Because who we deal with in the Middle East and all those Middle East countries that put women down so much, I just can never, ever vote for a woman. I have to think of a worldview when a woman runs for president. That's why I would never vote for Hillary. I'd never vote for Hillary because of who Hillary is, but I feel like it got a little bit deep here when I said that. I'm sorry. They will have to be absolutely phenomenal and not emotional at all. And that to me is going to be a psychopath when it comes to women. I think women are a lot more emotional, and that's what makes us great. And that's what makes us different from men. It's hard for me to trust a woman as a president of the United States.
Well, actually, believe it or not, I've heard other women say that.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons.
I admire them if they
Hillary
run.
didn't win. Well, think about it. So Hillary, what's her name? I was going to say Obama's girlfriend. You know who Obama's girlfriend was? He spent his birthday with her instead of with his wife, Oprah Winfrey. And
shut up. Well, they both went to the island. The 140. Epstein's list is getting ready to drop. 140 names. I guarantee. Obama's probably on it.
They spent quite a lot of time together. But regardless, she was all for let's get a woman president. Okay, here comes Hillary Clinton, and she backed Barack Hussein Obama. That's what cost her show. I told everybody when it happened. I said, there goes her show. It'll be off the air within 6 months, and sure to hell if it wasn't. I mean, she had to go buy a network just to get back on TV. That's how bad her ratings were.
People think that Michelle's going to run for president.
Well, I don't know why. Michelle don't have a chance of winning.
Why would
she people hate her. Obama was one thing. Nobody liked Michelle. Half the people think Michelle's a transvestite.
Well, and the very first thing she said, like days after the inauguration, and she wasn't even nice about it. She just came flat out and said, "America, your children are fat," and pissed off a lot of moms.
Oh, and then hold on, and then the lunch stuff that they gave for the kids because she did all this lunch program. Let me tell you, I had a picture sent to me. My son was in preschool at this time. And they sent it to me, and it was pitiful. It was so bad. I posted it on my old Facebook account, and I cannot believe how many shares it got and everything. This was a Michelle Obama lunch for a preschooler. It was so pathetic. I cried, and I had no clue that was being served. So I ended up packing my kids' lunch until they got out of the White House. And they have good lunches now. Like my son, like he's excited about lunch. Like we're having this day. Back then, like. And then he would always come home right off the bus and he's starving. Like I always had to feed him right then because and it's because he never got the true nutrition that he needed. And the tray was pitiful. Like it was bad. Like they had like a little bit of applesauce, a couple carrots, and it was pitiful. And it went viral here locally when I posted it on my old Facebook page. It's not on this Facebook page I have now, but it was pitiful.
And traditionally, politicians haven't really been good at public school lunches. In the 80s, when I was in high school, we had Reagan, woo. And but the moms of the day, I guess I don't know if it was my mom complained. I don't think she would have, but there wasn't enough fruit on the public school lunch menu. So, and fruit's not cheap. So, what do you think they did for the fruit? You'll have no idea. You'll fall out of your chair laughing when I tell you what.
I'm going to say they grinded it up and served it as a mix.
You're not far off.
Okay.
Ketchup packets. Tomato is a fruit. So it didn't matter what you got. You got tuna salad. You got a ketchup packet for your fruit. You got pizza on Friday pizza day. You got 4 or 5 packets of ketchup.
I had ketchup with pizza too, and I never knew why.
For your fruit. This is for you. This was the fruit they were giving us.
Crackheads. That's what that is.
It was ridiculous. I mean, you can't. I mean, this is the U.S. government. You can't get your hand on a couple of crates of oranges or a few bananas.
Oh wait.
I couldn't believe it. They're giving away packets of ketchup as a fruit for public school lunches. At least for me, from 1980 to 1984, when I was in high school.
Well, what can you say? It sounds like America to me. Oh,
here you go. We got ketchup. I graduated high school in 1999. I will tell you this: our lunch pizzas, the little squares. I don't know if you had the square pizzas.
We had proper triangles.
Oh, they were the best pizzas ever, though. I love those pizzas, but they would give us. It was so good. They would give us like 4 or 5 packs on that tray that day of ketchup, and I always wanted to know why. And they'd give us corn, they'd give us pizza, and then they'd give us 4 or 5 packs of ketchup.
That was your fruit. Peel it and eat it.
Thank God half my schools I went to were either Catholic or private. They actually had real lunches.
Oh, that pieces of
public schools suck.
I always bought extra lunch. It was like $1.50 for an extra lunch.
Wait. Here, this is when y'all gonna love this. Bing's AI bot tells reporter it wants to be alive, steal nuclear codes, and create a deadly virus. That's what we got to look forward to AI, people.
That's the metaverse.
That's why we don't want AI. That's why we want
AI is demonic, and I think Daniel in the Bible actually had a vision, or one of his prophecies was AI.
George Soros predicts Democrat landslide in 2024 if Trump and DeSantis slugs it out. They're not
he just endorsed. Look up George Soros endorsed DeSantis.
It's but they already know. So the Republican Party would take each one out. So whoever's going to win the primary is just going to run. Trump knows if he tries to run as an independent, he's not going to win. He can't win as an independent. He has to run as a party.
That's why we got to get rid of the parties. That's why we can't have a third party. We got to get rid of
it wouldn't matter if he didn't. It wouldn't even matter. He needs that party base to win.
And we've already seen an independent run before, Ross Perot back in the 80s against Bob Dole or 90. And all he did was he handed that over to the incumbent. He lost that election for Bob Dole, who actually probably would have been. And I think he was a Democrat. He actually would have been a pretty good president.
He would have been a good president. He just passed away not too long ago.
Did he?
Bob Dole.
Oh, great. You know what else I love about DeSantis? Y'all heard about his latest bill DeSantis passed? He passed a bill in his state that allows them permission to send any illegal immigrants coming into a state to any states with sanctuary cities.
So
I love DeSantis. Wow. He's sending bitches off, man.
Is that the 5-minute cities? What's a sanctuary city?
Sanctuary cities where
Los Angeles, New York, DC.
Oh, okay.
Where the immigrants can come no matter what.
Well, here's something to think about, though. Always follow the money, okay? The people that donate to DeSantis, the groups that donate to DeSantis, is the same groups that donated to Obama. And now we have George Soros kind of endorsing DeSantis. I think he's good on the surface. Something's underhanded. And I honestly think if he says he's going to run for president this term, then we know what side he's on. It's divide and conquer, and he's going to divide the MAGA.
Well, we're going to see what happens. I mean, we're still a year and a half out. Trump may end up in jail before this is all said and done.
Yeah, there's some new.
there's always new. He's not going to jail.
Yeah. What was on the news last night was
I don't believe in
unfavorable for Trump, but
I mean, it's always unfavorable for him. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Freaking Joe Biden. He lied in state, like multiple. Well, yeah. Even CNN says he's lied so much.
So this is what's going to be the real problem: is if Trump gets a lot of negativity and Biden gets a lot of negativity, that opens the door for other people.
Even worse candidates.
Yeah, so Newsom might get in.
Pence has unclassified documents. Biden has unclassified. They raided Trump. Why are we not raiding Obama? Because he spent $36 million in FOIA lawsuits to keep that crap hidden. Where's Obama in all this? Nobody's talking about Obama.
Nobody's going to raid Obama. They ain't going to mess with Obama. He's a black man. They ain't going to mess with him. They'll be screaming racist as soon as they do it.
He's mixed. He's part black.
Yeah, I know he's mixed, but it ain't going to matter. They're going to scream racist as soon as you do it.
Yeah, it's going to spark off the possibility of a race war if anybody does anything against Obama, even if it's true.
I agree. He's probably got classified documents in his house. What I don't understand about Pence is why he just didn't get rid of them. Why did he didn't have to turn him? And same thing with Biden. Why did his lawyers decide?
Is by his Corvette.
Why did his lawyers decide? But I'm trying to figure out why his lawyers decided what they decided.
I can't see
myself. Well, I can't see my damn self. I can see y'all real good. Oh well. It's
I don't know. This world's crazy because we give billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, but we are not helping Ohio.
Wait, let me tell you what. The money we give to Ukraine ain't shit compared to what we give to other countries. We give Europe 5 times that, maybe 6 times that. Easy. We were giving Russia that much before they started the war.
How much did we give Pakistan before we realized they were hiding Bin Laden?
And
they knew who Bin Laden was. Bin Laden worked for
we made Bin Laden. I mean, we created
him.
It's just we lost control.
And they paid off Pakistan because of Bin Laden.
So if you ever see a picture, it's great. There's pictures of Bin Laden when he was in the CIA and going to college in the United States. He looks just like any other U.S. citizen. He just looks like any other guy.
Here's something. Obama is not even born in our country, and it's been proven. And the real birth certificate has been formulated and put out. It's actually documented and confirmed by investigators and stuff. It's been on. Go to Rumble.
It don't matter if the CIA and NSA don't do it. Nobody cares. It's just one of those things in the United States. And the media did a real good job with that. Even when the first birth certificate came out and it wasn't a U.S. birth certificate.
Let me tell you this:
but it doesn't matter.
The 140 names of Epstein, I guarantee it. And this is what probably held it up the most: Obama. But it's going to be Barry Soetoro on it. It's not going to be Obama.
Right, yeah, Barry Soetoro. But also, weeks after the inauguration, the media was able to basically turn everyone's head away from Michelle Obama having said on the air, Barack's home country of Kenya.
Oh, he said it himself a couple times.
She said it like
he also said a couple times
that Michael a couple times too instead of Michelle.
But he said many times that he was Muslim. There's lots of things he said. There's lots of stuff still up on YouTube you can find.
Well, he went to school there. There's pictures of him being.
But it doesn't matter as long as one of his parents was an American. He's good anyway it goes. And his mother was definitely American.
Then Ted Cruz should be able to run for president because Ted Cruz is in Canada, but one of his parents is American.
But he claims
to be born on American soil, though.
It doesn't matter anyway because he claims he claimed it as his home country. He holds dual citizenship, so they're not going to let him run anyway.
Well, I mean, he was born there, so I accept his honesty in it. But one of his parents is American. Okay, so I want to talk about Ohio because it's 2 hours for me. What happened?
Yeah,
it's less than that for me.
Okay, Jay, tell me what you think about what happened. Dan, you're closer.
Well, I've only just recently heard about it this afternoon, but there should be, from what I understand, what happened was there's like almost a mushroom cloud when this train derailed, and it's poisoning the area. There should be, the National Guard should have already been deployed. I don't think they have been. Disaster relief should already have been deployed.
Biden turned it all down.
So look,
it should already be out. What Biden is, I don't know what his problem is, but the governor should have already declared.
He requested it.
State
He
of
did
emergency.
it.
The president should have sent disaster relief. FEMA
Denied
should be
it.
involved.
He
They're
denied
not.
it.
They're not in there.
No, they're not. And Buttigieg,
so,
you heard what he said today, right? Or yesterday, he said, well, there's thousands of derailments every year. Really? I didn't know that.
I researched it. There's at least 1,000 derailments in the year, but out of these 1,000,
carrying
maybe
hazardous
three, 2 to 3 hazardous equipment. Now look at all the train derailments in the last 2 weeks that's happened that has hazardous chemicals that's derailed, and then also some other accidents. There was in some buildings on fire, North Carolina and Florida, that had hazardous chemicals in it in the last couple weeks. But we should know by now, with all the food processing plants that burned up and all this stuff, this does not happen just by chance. Something is going on, and this is a major. I honestly believe it's Chernobyl, the United States Chernobyl, and it's hit our Ohio River. Our water is being turned off where I'm at, and that Ohio River runs along my whole entire state. Like, the Ohio River is 2.5 miles from my house right now. That's our main water source, and it goes all the way down. Then it hits the Mississippi River, which goes all the way down to the Gulf. And the mainstream media is not posting anything or saying anything about it. And I'm telling you, it's deadly. There's people getting sick. There's people, their eyes are burning out of their heads. There's people throwing up. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And honestly, I'm upset with my mayor, Matt Perkins, here in town. I voted for him. He has not done one video update or anything with us here. If I was mayor over City of Ashland, and this is major, I'd be doing Facebook Lives every day to say, hey, I don't know the details of this stuff. I'm going to tell you, we're going to be okay. No matter what, I'm going to make the best decision possible for our city, our town. We're going to be okay. This is affecting creeks. Like, I posted videos in my stories and stuff where people are throwing rocks in the creeks, because what this happens with these chemicals, they set lower in the water. And you might not see it necessarily on the surface, and you're going to think it's okay, and it's not okay. People start throwing rocks in or something, and it comes up, and it looks like oil all over. This is Flint, Michigan. This is Aaron Brockovich stuff, and it's going to affect millions for years. This is cancer type stuff that's going to come out. Birth defects are going to come out. Little kids are throwing up. I posted that up on my stories on Facebook. Little kids puking and throwing up, like 2 or 3 days after they got back to home, and then she ended up leaving again, this one lady. And here's why I think Biden's not helping. He's the most evil piece of shit I've ever met in my life. And shame on the people that voted for him. I'm sorry. Shame on you for voting for him. You need to have discernment when you vote for people. And what happened is that they had this big, huge strike. These train workers had this big, huge strike, wanting better rails, safer, safeguards, all this kind of stuff. They striked. Well, then Biden, pretty much the documents that I read, said they tried to settle, and the union workers were not settling because it was pitiful what they were given. And so then pretty much Biden said, if you don't settle for this, you're going to have jail time. So they settled it, and then 2 months later, or 6 weeks later, this happens. And honestly, a part of me, from research and stuff, I'm not going to come out and say for sure. I almost think fentanyl was on that train.
But I didn't know telling what was on that train. There's some pretty nasty shit on that train, whatever it was. I heard the EPA today going on and on and on about how safe it is and everything's back to normal.
It's not safe. They say our gas stoves are not safe, but this is. Hold on, let me see if I can find this video and I can show you.
Oh, and by the way, you don't have to be born in the U.S. to be president. You just have to be born to U.S. citizens. You can be born anywhere in the world as long as you're born to U.S. parents and you're considered a naturalized American, and you can run for president.
Born citizen, but you're naturally
so you don't have to be born on the soil as long as you're born to American parents. I don't know if it's one parent or two, because it won't say. I've been reading it while we've been talking, but it does say very specifically that yes, you can be born off of soil to be to be a president in this country, but your parents have to be U.S. citizens. I'm assuming it means two parents, but it might only mean one. So because as long as you have one parent that's American, you have the rights of an American. When you come home, you don't have to check in. All you have to do is get your birth certificate and you're an American citizen. You may even hold dual citizenship that way. So I'm not sure how that works, but it clearly says you don't have to be born in America. I posted it so you can see it in the chat. You don't have to be. Yeah, but we're talking about if you can run for president or not with that. So I'm assuming as long as you're a citizen, you can run for president. So, but you don't have to be born in the U.S. It's always been a thing in the country. Everybody always thought that you have to be born in the soil, but no, you do not have to be born in the soil to run for president. So that's why everybody was on Obama's ass. Well, he was born in Kenya. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. He's born in Kenya. His mom was born in Hawaii. He's still an American.
You know that Obama's related to Biden? Or not Biden, I'm sorry, Bush.
He's supposed to be related to Bush. A lot of people say
I
that.
have it. I have the proof. Hold on. I can show that here in a second. I want to see if I can get this video real quick and maybe could share it of the actual explosions. There was like 15 major explosions that went on during this. I had it on my Facebook. And I can't find it now.
I know. Sean and I were talking about it the other day because he was worried about it coming to where he lives, and I was like, "Well, dude," I said, "You got that new fancy Maverick truck. You need to get in that bitch and haul ass, man." But we're used to that here because we have a bunch of refineries west of New Orleans, a bunch of big refineries west of New Orleans, and also some chemical plants that make all kind of chemicals. And there's a lot of chemical trains that come through, so we're kind of used to that kind of behavior. But they don't fall off the rails around here. We live in the swamp. I haven't even heard what caused this to happen. No one's given an explanation of why it happened. It's like
it derailed. It derailed.
Yeah, but what caused the derailment?
They're investigating it. That's part of their job, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, somebody's got to say what caused the derailment. Was the track broke? Was there something on the track? I mean, what was it? What was it? Yeah, I mean,
I posted it on Twitter. I might have to bring up my Twitter account and then share my screen and let you see it.
Jenny, you can send me food, man. Yeah, look, I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm always hungry, man. Send me
Taco Bell. Taco Bell's after.
No, I got Fat Boy. I actually got Fat Boy's pizza in the kitchen.
Uh-oh.
And a friend of mine's actually making shrimp and shallot dumplings, and she's out in L.A. That's pretty early for the L.A. people. It's only 9 o'clock.
It is early.
So they're out there hanging out.
I'll tell you what, I miss me a Low Country Boil. That is some good food right there.
Ronnie, look, I'm gonna be out in LA the week, I believe, between the 20th and the 28th. I don't know what hotel we're at yet. They haven't told me. So no, I didn't. I'll ask John next time I talk to him, and I'll ask him what hotel we're staying at. That way y'all can find me. And no, I'm looking for volunteers. We do a lot of work. I got to do 6 or 7 interviews a day. Well, with the judges, so I got 24 winners to interview. So that's 6 a day. And then I've got about 10 judges to interview. So it's about 8 interviews a day. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. People go, "Oh, you're going on vacation." No, I'm not. I'm going to work, people. I mean, I'm all into this. What in the hell, people become more literate. Yes, Jimmy, I know you can listen.
Okay,
you can listen.
Hold on, let me see here. Yes. I have this. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I don't know if this will be good or not. We'll find out. Hopefully it is. It should be my
While you're doing that, for all my friends in Cali, 500,000 people have left your state in the last 2 years, and that's the low estimate. That's not what the Census Bureau says. They estimate it's closer to 1.5 million. So I don't know, y'all are somewhere between 500,000 and 1.5 million people left Cali and went to live somewhere else. I hope they're not liberals. Is all I can say. A lot of them are going to Austin. Okay. Yeah.
Here we go. This is all the explosions that happened. And that's something else. We have no environmentalist out doing anything about this. But here we go. From the beginning of when it started. Now,
That's another go, man. Why did they need to burn it off if it kept blowing up? Why did they have to bleed it off if it kept blowing up?
Oh, believe me, they dug new. Yes, you know that they replaced those tracks within 2 days, and they're running over it now.
Yeah, I don't know why no one. I mean, the media's not talking about this. Butterbutt's not talking about this. None of the liberals are talking about this.
Because Biden, and I think that strike had a lot to do with it. And you know, he's not sending any kind of help to these people that's there. But we send billions. Like, it's the most evil administration. I thought Obama was evil. Not until this.
I loved Obama. He was sweet and kind and loving and hugging, and he liked to give you big.
Well, how many bombs a day? How many bombs a day did we have? How many strikes?
Hey, he wasn't dropping them on Americans. Look, you know, I can't help him.
But he wasn't all nice and sweet because he ran on a platform like, I'm not going to start any new wars. I'm going to stop the ones that are going, and yada yada this. And what did he do within the first few months? He ramped up one war and started a whole new one.
They want to say Putin is a war criminal too, and we got the Bushes, we got the Clintons, we got Obama, we got Biden now too. We are the bad guys.
Now, y'all don't let me take up for Obama. Okay, so first off, Obama didn't start any wars. He ended one. He didn't end the other one, but he ended one. He said he was going to end both. He did end the Iraqi war, even though he was killing 6,000 people a week. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh about that. He did end the war, though. He did end it. He couldn't end Afghanistan. There was no way the generals weren't going to let him end Afghanistan. Plus, the rich people weren't.
He promised in his campaign, though.
Well, no, he didn't. He didn't, and but he didn't pull a Biden. Yeah, I got to give him credit. I mean, he didn't do like we did in Afghanistan with Biden. I mean, Jesus, that was just disgusting.
Back out.
That reminded me. Remember Hillary Clinton with the embassy? That disaster. That's what that reminded me of when Hillary Clinton was supposed to.
He made a deal. He made a deal in Afghanistan with those people over the lithium plants, and China came in. So, and that's why he
China don't want to deal with him either.
Well, that's why he blew up
Betterman 2024.
That's why hold on. What was I saying?
See, you done threw her completely off, Jay.
I know. I saw Biden Betterman 2024.
They threw her brain out.
That was Obama. Did that,
Afghanistan with the lithium in China. Well, that's why he blew up Nord Stream 2, because it was the direct competitor with Burisma.
Yeah. Trump. I mean, Putin said the other day, if it's really true that we blew up his pipeline, he's going to consider that an act of war and have to retaliate against one of ours.
He said it before it even blew up, and
Biden
said it, and freaking what's her face, Angela, that actually was part of the coup in Ukraine in 2014.
But the Europeans said we didn't blow it up. They said that's poppycock. That's how they said it.
Bull. We did it with Norway.
They said we didn't blow it up. See, that's the thing. So let me help people understand this. First off, the United States would never go on sovereign soil and blow something up because we don't have to. We don't have to. We would have had special forces do it from the UK or from the EU or from Poland or even from Norway. We wouldn't have done it ourselves. There's no reason for us to go over there and do that. There's too many trained people. Why risk American lives on something, or why even risk World War III when you can have a no consequence country do it that Putin can't go against? He can't attack the EU. And but he could start some shit with the United States, but he couldn't attack the EU because he knows what's going to happen.
Biden threatened it, and that Angela girl threatened it. That was part of the she was in with the embassy there in Ukraine.
He probably did threaten it, but we're not the ones that actually blew it up.
We did it with Norway Secret Service, or not Secret Service. They call it I can't
Yeah,
remember.
we might have sent the order out and they might have did it, but we're not going to go over there. And we wouldn't have done it that way anyway.
We used a dummy.
So
we dropped the dummy in the water. We dropped the dummy in the water, and then it sends off these vibrations. They already mounted the bombs on these pipes.
But we would have never done it. That America would have never. No, I'm telling you, America would have never started an oil leak. It's not how we would have done things.
No, we would have
went in. We would have went in, and we would have used a sub with a surgical strike, and that would have been the end of it. We wouldn't have polluted a bunch of water. It's not how we do business. Our special forces are very well trained. They could actually went underwater and just turned the valves off.
Nord Stream 2 was not functional. It was getting ready to be functional. There was no oil.
No, there was some oil somewhere because they were bitching about all over the surface.
It was getting ready to be released and start doing that. It was going to be very, very energy efficient. It was not functioning at the time.
And if that's the case, you definitely don't need America to do it. Just send a missile over there.
No, they didn't send a missile. They sent
That's what I'm saying.
into
the water. There's no reason to put us over there.
I'm telling you, they sent a dummy. I've researched
this. I guarantee it wasn't American soldiers. It wasn't American soldiers.
I guarantee it. I promise you.
We would never risk an act of war with Russia over a pipeline. We just wouldn't do it. It's not good business. And none of our generals would have allowed it to happen.
Depends on who our allies are. In Norway is going to start profiting a lot more money because
all of Europe is our allies. Any one of the Europeans would have done it for us. There's no need for America to go over there. The Brits would have loved it.
Norway's going to start providing that for Europe rather than Russia. That's why they use Norway in the sea.
They would have sent Russia to Norway to blow. There's no reason for us to put people over there.
I'm telling you. Mark my words on it.
There's just no reason for it. And the only reason, and it only came out as a thing for the United States because Putin needed something to beat us up with. No reason to take it out that way. And let me tell you what, if we'd have took it out, there would have been no putting it back together. Right now, they could put it back together. We'd have took it out. We'd have took out shit in the whole length of it. Actually, I can tell you how to. If it was not operational, America would have cut a hole in the tube, put a torpedo in it, and sent it down the whole thing, and took the whole entire length of the pipeline out. We wouldn't have done it any way else than that because why do it any other way than that? That's our technology. Some other country doing it, they would have blown it up because that's the technology they possess.
We dropped the dummy. Norway put the bombs on it.
And how are we going to fly over there? We'd be crossing Russian airspace. They'd have shot us down.
Norway put the bombs on it. We dropped the dummy in the water that sent off the vibrations to blow that sucker up. I'm telling you.
And why? That is so old school technology. Why would we do that?
Well,
there's so many better ways to do it.
It works.
But why would you do something when you could take out the whole pipeline? Why would you take out a little bitty section of the pipeline when you can take out the whole pipeline?
Can you trace a dummy or what can you trace back? We can just drop a faux dummy and it could come from any country ever. All dummies are the same.
America more than likely would have just launched a bunch of torpedoes and took out the whole pipeline.
That's for sure America. That's for sure America. They're trying to hide this, and I'm going to tell you we did it.
They're not going to hide it. People think America does way more things than we actually do. It always cracks me up. People forget we have allies. We have allies all around the world. And let me tell you what, the Brits would have loved to go do this. This is shit they love to go blow. They love to blow shit up. They like us. They love to go blow shit up. Why go? They got all the people they need over there. Norway's what now? Not an EU country. Norway, not a Norway country, whatever they call it. Norway. What is it called?
NATO.
Anyway, they're part of the whole damn thing now, so they got accepted. What, NATO country? I'm sorry. So we don't need to do that.
Hold on, I want to see if I can find something.
Just blow some shit up and go on with yourself. Yes or no, Jesse? No. Well, I don't know where it was located at. Actually, I think Norway would have torpedoed the shit out of it and been done with it. I think they'd have just said, "Hey, watch this. Let's go test these new torpedoes that America sent us and see what they do." Usually when America blows shit up, because they blow shit up. They don't just blow a little piece up.
Well, this was blown up. Believe me.
We blew the shit out of things. We'd have took the pipeline all the way back to the land now. It would have been gone.
I got something here. Hold on. I want to download this. No, I can't download it. It won't let me download it. Let me see if I can look this up, and I'm going to share it. We're going to listen to this sucker. Hold on. Before it's taken off any kind of computer. And I researched this stuff up, and then I started Googling it, and this is what I found.
Ouch. Oh, ouch. People, don't be sending me weird stuff like this.
What was that?
Oh, it was something to do with the balloons. It was retarded.
Okay.
Oh, let's see now. We got some new
in.
stuff.
Okay, let me sign in.
Feds are sending new medical experts to
in.
Ohio toxic train wreck to give residents ease.
Oh, yeah, give the residents ease. We had to beg for it.
The Biden administration said it has deployed federal medical experts to help ease what damages remain at the Ohio village where the train carrying hazardous materials derailed. What was the materials, by the way? They haven't said.
There's like 6 or 7 of them, and it's
the ramp of the federal support. The ramp.
Hold on, it is the chemicals that cause mustard gas and
oh, George, that sounds fun. Let's see. They've been very critical of the governor. They've been very critical of Buttigieg, Butterbutt, as I like to call him.
Okay.
Y'all don't know why I call him Butterbutt. I don't know what to tell you. Whoever just asked me that.
I got a video. Can I play it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's a few minutes long, but listen to this. I'm going to wait till it comes up here. Okay, there we go. Shit. Listen to this. And I researched this stuff and started plugging things in, and this is what I got.
Winning journalist Seymour Hersh, relying on unnamed national security sources, recently published an article on his Substack about the destruction of the Nord Stream pipelines. 2 pipelines, known as Nord Stream 1, provided Western Europe with Russian gas for more than a decade. These pipelines were seen by NATO as a threat to Western dominance. Profits were shared with the Russian government and provided up to 45% of their annual budget.
See, they was working.
Called Nord Stream, were not yet operational. NATO was concerned that as long as Europe remained dependent upon these pipelines, Germany would be reluctant to supply Ukraine with money and weapons to fight Russia. And so the Biden administration authorized Jake Sullivan to assemble a task force with members of the Biden White House, the CIA, and the Pentagon to come up with a plan for the destruction of the pipelines. The operation was run by Victoria Nuland, Anthony Blinken, and Jake Sullivan.
Nuland.
The Navy proposed using a submarine to assault the pipeline directly. The Air Force proposed dropping bombs with delayed fuses. And the CIA argued that whatever was done, it would have to be covert, because if the attack was traced to the U.S., then it would be an act of war. In early 2022, right after the CIA reported to Sullivan that they had a plan, both Victoria Nuland and President Biden publicly threatened to bring an end to Nord Stream 2.
If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2.
According to the source, this public announcement meant blowing up the pipeline no longer could be considered a covert option, and that there was no longer a legal requirement to report their plans to Congress. The Americans partnered with Norway, who had their own motivations for the destruction of the Nord Stream pipelines.
This is how I found this.
Which would allow them to sell more of their own natural gas to Europe. In March of 2022, members of the team flew to Norway to meet with the Norwegian Secret Service. The Norwegian Navy decided on a spot in the shallow waters of the Baltic Sea, a few miles off Denmark's Bornholm Island, where the divers, operating from a Norwegian Alta-class mine hunter, would plant C4 charges with concrete protective covers on the 4 pipelines. Divers were chosen from the U.S. Navy's Diving and Salvage Center in Panama City. which specializes in training deepwater divers to use.
Oh, that's true. I can find out if this is true or not.
Because they were Navy only, not members of America's Special Operations Command, whose covert operations would need to be reported to Congress. The mission was secretly embedded into an annual training exercise already scheduled for June of 2022, known as Baltic Operations 22, or BaltOps 22, wherein the Panama City divers would place C4 explosives with a 48-hour timer attached. But the White House then worried that triggering the explosion within 2 days of the well-publicized training exercise would make it obvious that America was responsible. And so it was decided that the C4 would be triggered by a sonar buoy later dropped by plane. The buoy would emit a sequence of unique low-frequency tonal sounds to trigger the explosives. On September 26, 2022, a Norwegian Navy P-8 surveillance plane dropped the sonar buoy. The signal spread underwater, and a few hours later, the high-powered explosives were triggered, and 3 of the 4 pipelines were put out of commission. According to Hirsch's national security sources, it was a beautiful cover story. It was a covert operation that placed experts in the field and equipment that operated on a covert signal. The only flaw was the decision to do it. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh.
That's who wrote it, Pulitzer Prize Seymour Hersh. But I was researching Norway because I was thinking if the pipeline got blew up, what would be the #1 country that would benefit from that? I've worked in oil and gas, so Norway, and I was researching Norway, and I'm like, they had to team up with Norway. There's no other way than Norway. And so then I started doing a lot of Googles and all that stuff. I said, I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm just going to see what TikTok says. And I typed in Nord Stream and Norway, and that's the video I got.
Well, I can find out. I mean, I'm friends with a bunch of them guys. I've been friends with them for a long time.
We did it. And that's an active war. And these UFOs up in the Canada.
Well, so if we did it and the C4 is right, then the Russians would know we did it because the C4 made in the C4 made in the United States is made a particular way. It's not made like this in any other country. So if the Russians went down there and found that, they would already call it a war.
They could probably trace it back to the lab it was made.
Yeah, they could trace it back to the lab.
Newland was big in the coup that happened in Ukraine in 2014. All kinds of audio was released.
The 3 people he mentioned are morons. I really don't think they have the ability to put this together, to be honest with you.
They got Norway to come in.
Blinken's an idiot. I mean, I wouldn't trust him.
Blinken was going to China.
I wouldn't trust him with my freaking dog, man.
Well, listen, this is all treason in many ways. Blinken was going to China if we want to wrap this all back.
If the U.S. used C4 like they said they did, the Russians could track that all the way back to where it was made. So that would they would have already considered this an act of war. They've already been there. We know the Russians already been down there and have retrieved whatever this was.
It is an act of war. That's why they shot down. They intercepted 2 Russian bomber jets in.
No, they do that all the time. Yeah, that's all the time. Not in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, it was.
No, we just shot them down in Colorado Springs.
It was in Colorado.
No.
Look it up.
Russian planes. Well, no, they would have never got in there. We'd have shot them down long before that. We'd have freaking shot them down when they crossed over the Carolinas or one of the other states.
I'll show it to you.
Usually, if a Russian plane gets anywhere, it's along the Alaskan coastline or the Canadian coastline or one of the other coastlines, because anything that crosses the 75-mile barrier is free game to shoot down. That's an act of war when you cross into our airspace.
Well, we got China going across a whole freaking country.
With a balloon, that's not the same as a fighter jet or a bomber.
I'm going to show it to you.
We would definitely consider that an act of war. We'd have shot that bitch down in a heartbeat. Maybe that's what we've been shooting down, their own fighters. I know in the last 3 days, we've escorted back 3 bombers, 8 fighters, and then 4 more fighters outside of our country for crossing into our airspace. Hey, look at that. I can see again. That looks good. I couldn't sit here for a minute. Johnny, no, man, that's an act of war, man. Colorado Springs, that's halfway in the middle of the country, dude. We'd
It
blowing
is.
shit up all over the place.
They call it Alaska, but they said that that's the region it was in. The Alaska region.
We'd have blown the living shit out of them. We'd have said, excuse me. We wouldn't even give them a chance for call letters. We'd have just shot them down. Oh, no, you can't come inside of our country like that. You can fly over it with satellites. That's part of the agreement we had for the whatever it was, the nuclear proliferation treaty.
And then we got a Black Hawk falling out of the sky in Alabama out of nowhere.
Yeah, I seen that. I actually seen the video of that.
I think they got shot down.
No, they didn't get shot down. They just, it looked like, so first off, there was no smoke or nothing on the helicopter, and it fell down nose first. It was just like the engine just died. Now somebody might have EMP'd it or something and killed it that way. So you got to remember now, we don't need missiles to blow shit out the sky anymore. An EMP pulse will take something out the sky. And that thing, I seen the video, it just fell nose out. I mean, that was crazy looking. It looked like Godzilla just dropped it or something.
New York Post.
That was crazy looking. Yeah, but anything crossing more than a couple of miles into our airspace gets shot down.
Colorado.
Okay. I was breaking up there for a second. We are watching you. I'm waiting for a Chinese sub to pop up right there, man. And nuke the White House. If it keeps doing it, just send it to me and I'll play it up. It's
18. See it.
Hey, I'm not seeing anything right now. It's just a little thing spinning. It's just spinning. You mean I've been in Jets in Pursuit before? Oh yeah, it's freaky weird, man. Well, I used to have to go to the bombing derby 5 or 6 times.
Hold on, I'm gonna share until
yeah, for some reason it's just lagging you out. Put the link in the comments and I'll grab it. Oh well, maybe we killed her. Oh shit. We might have killed her. Valiant. What do you mean, Trish? No, I mean, the U.S. got strict things. Anything crossing over the 75-mile barrier is free game. We can shoot it down, and Russians know that. Yeah, I mean, we let them make edges of the sometimes fly in different parts, but inside the continental U.S., oh no, we consider that an act of war. We'd be blowing the living shit. We wouldn't even use a plane to shoot them down. We'd have shot them down with freaking air-to-ground missiles. Yep. Shit, the ones in D.C. alone would have probably shot it down. They don't. That's something they don't play with. That's ooh, man, we would consider that a serious act of war. Well, technically, the balloon is an act of war. We're just not going to call it that because it didn't. Apparently, it didn't have any weapons. Yeah, it didn't. As long as it wasn't weaponized, it's hard. You know, it's spying, but we spy on Chinese all the time. It's, you want to get mad at the Chinese, but we spy on their asses all the time.
We spy on them from way up high.
Inside the communist government sending us stuff.
New York Post posted about that. It's not going to let it. It keeps freezing up when I try to share it. But Colorado Springs, Colorado, New York Post, look it up.
Yeah, I ain't worried about it. It's nothing we're going to let inside the.
I mean, it was intercepted anyway. It was intercepted anyway.
It wouldn't matter. It would have been intercepted long before it got to Colorado Springs. That's the point. If it came in from Canada, the F-22s would have picked it up on the coastline. If it came across any other coast, we'd have probably shot it down with coastal missiles. We had
that freaking meteor down in Texas too.
That's something we don't play with, man. You can't go flying an airplane into the middle of our country. We'll blow the living shit out of you for that.
Well, and I guarantee you that.
I mean, any other person, I agree with that. But we got Biden.
No, it doesn't matter. It's not up to Biden. That's not even up to Biden.
Military leaders, though.
None of that matters. It's only the commander on staff at the time. Any commander on staff is going to shoot it down. He ain't even going to worry about calling the president. They have standing orders.
Is it Milley?
No, all military commanders have the same orders. If something breaches the 75-mile mark, shoot it down. You get to tell it 1 time or 2 times, turn around and leave. If it does not turn around and leave, shoot it down. We don't even play with that.
They probably give 3 warnings. After the 3rd warning, they'll shoot once across the bow, and then the next one is going to hit it.
That's it. The next one's taking it down. It's not something we play with. It's too dangerous because if they're carrying nukes and they get inside into Colorado, man, they could do major harm to the country.
I mean, I think we had a whole Cold War incident happen this past week. I don't know if there's some
negotiations. A lot of stuff going on, but the way our interceptors work. See, we rely on NORAD for a lot of things, but each base has its own radar system.
I don't trust NORAD.
You don't have to, because each base has its own radar system. They all have their own radar systems. And if anything crosses in their airspace, adios amigos. We've shot down. Look, it wasn't even the first time we've shot down jets before over that kind of shit. We shot 2 down for flying over the Enterprise, and that was at sea. But anything within the 100-mile range of that ship is sovereign territory, so we shot them down. It's not even Biden can't go around. And Biden's already in trouble over the stupid balloon.
He's in trouble with a lot of things, but I'm just going to say this: if it was Trump, it would never happen.
It would never happen under Trump. You ain't got to worry about that. But if he allowed a jet to get inside our U.S., they'd already used the 25th Amendment on him. He'd be gone. Kamala would be the new president. Kamala.
Well, no, everybody hates Camilla. She's over there
but she's next in line. But you know what happens if they can impeach them both? McCartney becomes the president. He's third in line.
I am not a McCarthy fan, but I like what
I ain't either, but he's still a Republican versus a Democrat. So, oh, Gene. Wait,
I think him and Marjorie Taylor Greene are having an affair.
Oh my God! Don't even tell me stuff like that.
I swear, I think.
So where I live on the Gulf Coast, they do fighter things here all the time. Well, you can tell when we're gearing up for war down here. As soon as we get close to war, man, you start seeing shit moving in and out of here all the time. The pilots are constantly over the Gulf with the pilots out of Pensacola. The Navy pulls in. They're flying shit everywhere. They're training every day, every minute for a war. They're not playing around.
You know what I do when I think there's war? I always go and research other countries and what they're saying about the United States.
It's hard to take on, even if we got into a Russia and China, it'd be a bad war for us if the Europeans didn't get involved. But we can still beat them unless we. Well,
I'm going to tell you this. I hope China takes Taiwan because there's so many biolabs over there funded by.
We don't ever want China takes Taiwan. We have just become a backwards nation. They make 70% of all. They make the chip in your phone, girl. You don't ever want them being taken.
Elon makes the chips that are going to go into your brain.
Yeah, but Elon's way behind on making chips for the whole country, and we're not even nowhere near that yet. Maybe in a decade we might be ready.
I'm just going to tell you, the biolabs in Taiwan already have all that pulled, and I don't want to announce anything to anybody, but it's funded by the DoD, and I pulled that because I learned my lesson with Ukraine. I was like, I went to the United States Embassy website for Ukraine. I pulled 9 out of the 22 labs over there before they shut it down. I got 9 off of them. It's on my website.
China lost, what is it? China's losing $500 million a year because they found out about the biolab in Wuhan. The United Nations don't play with that. If they catch you with a biolab, you're going to be sanctioned and you're going to be penalized out the yin.
We got all kinds of biolabs in Ukraine.
No, we do. But we do not have. Okay.
Where did anthrax come from?
It came from us. Actually, it didn't come from us, but it sort of came from us.
It came from us in Ukraine. Where did swine flu come from? It came from us.
But the thing is, we don't need any of that. That's what people don't understand. Ukraine. Currently, right now on the planet, no one on this planet is been vaccinated for smallpox or bubonic plague. We released those 2. Everybody at breeding age is dead. Everybody else will die within a few years after that because we've all been vaccinated, so we'll survive it. But none of them are going to be having kids anymore. So that's the end of the planet right there. They don't need anthrax or any of that other stuff. That's more scare tactics. That's what I'm saying.
COVID, I don't know if it came from Wuhan lab or not because there's a biolab in China. Ukraine.
Well, no. So what happened with Wuhan is now we know because of stupid ass when he did this gain of function thing.
Fauci?
They took it from one of the labs in the U.S., which was a SARS-2 cold virus, not a COVID, but that's what COVID is. It's from the SARS-2 cold virus. That's what it comes from. They shipped that over there, and they did gain of function. They wanted to make it as bad as they could so they could make a cure for it. We do that with a lot of diseases, not just that. It's something that happens around the world on a regular basis. We build a disease up, and then we find a cure for it. That's the whole idea of having biological weapons anyway. Why build one if you can't cure it? Because it's not helping you any if you kill all your own citizens along with it. So a lot of times this is what goes on. But because of the deal with the UN, they cracked down. So now they're supposed to let these people go into these labs. They're supposed to be checking these labs because at one point, the United States had a stockpile of some of the nastiest viruses you could ever think of that could wipe the world out. Screw nuclear weapons. This shit was far more deadly than nuclear weapons were.
Well, listen, I think if it came from Wuhan lab by now, we'd have like absolute proof, concrete proof.
We do, but Biden's not going to give it to you.
But so that makes me question. I don't think it came from Wuhan.
So we'll help you. I'll help you out with the Wuhan. We had 4 people on the ground in Wuhan when this went down. We actually had 4 people. We actually had 2 that were in fairly high positions.
They could have gotten the idea from Wuhan.
No. So what went on down there, there was a breach in the lab at Wuhan. The Wuhan actually talked about this. The Wuhan government actually documented the breach at the Wuhan lab. But they swore that nothing got out. They said there was a breach and nothing got out. But there was a scientist that went missing that still hasn't been found. He just disappeared. Wuhan was definitely on the ground, and it was not in the neighborhood of the market. The first cases did not come from where the market was. They came from different parts of Wuhan. We also know that there was 40 incinerators in Wuhan running full time. There was nothing like that anywhere else in China. We know that they boarded up the windows. They used steel. We had people actually. We still got the video of them going around. You can still see the body bags moving, which I'm hoping was just reflex, because bodies move sometimes when they die after they're dead. I'm hoping that's what it was.
Oh, it's not very long.
But there's some that looked like they were just kind of kicking and moving around and stuff. It was pretty horrible to watch. And then he got us all the video of when they locked everybody down, and then they went through with these sprayers with this white fog and just fogged everything down, the whole entire city, inside of buildings, everywhere. They were just bringing meals and delivering them to these houses. And that's all it was. No one was allowed out anyway. No one could go into Wuhan. But by that time, it was too late. The disease had already left Wuhan. But there's no doubt that Wuhan was ground zero. There's no doubt. Nobody even argues about that. The argument is it came from the lab or did it come from the market? And most scientists don't think it came from the market because you want to know why? There was no animal traces in the new disease.
Oh, no,
in other words, if it would have came from a bat or an animal, the DNA would have been there.
It never came from the bat. And I'm going to tell everybody you need to get this book. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. It's kind of a hard read if you don't know big words. I've had to read. I come from medical background a little bit.
For me, my mom made me learn a big word a week.
He uses a lot of medical terms in this, and he talks about where the location of this happens. This is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the real Anthony Fauci. This is one of the best books I've ever read.
I promise. I meant to tell you that at the start of the show. So they're actually wanting to give amnesty for all of these scientists that originally talked about this. The one that said you had to wear the mask, the one that said stand 6 feet away. They want to give them immunity. Well, the Republicans aren't going for it. They're like, no.
Satanic Luciferian guideline, 6 feet away with a mask.
Why are you worried about the devil? The devil's not worried about you. He done moved on to another world. Earth is entirely too boring.
Sam Smith got heckled up in New York the other day by a lady, and I loved it.
When the devil left, he left the planet open. He's like, I'm out of here. This place is boring.
No,
it'll be 100 million years before anybody dies around here. It's time to go somewhere else.
He is ruling and reigning right now. His days are
That's
short.
The problem. I think he wishes he was ruling. You know what happened to Satan? Satan got screwed. He's like, all right, I got Earth. And then all of a sudden there was 8 billion of us that don't even listen to him. Mm-hmm. They're like, we don't care what the hell you're thinking about. He's out. He's done moved on. And you never know. He might have went. And that's another thing.
I want to show you.
No one ever stopped to think that
late.
Lucifer may have gone back to heaven. After all, he was the most beautiful angel. But you don't know that. You're only going by what was written by men. You don't know what was written by God. You can only go by what was written by men. Nothing in the Bible is written by God.
This is too late to go this way.
I'm just saying, nothing in the Bible is written by God.
Holy Spirit.
So you don't know. You're just making assumptions by something that was written for men 200 years after Christ died. That's just bad. You should might as well just stick with the Old Testament.
I will say this: if you have a Bible right now,
and then you hating on the Muslims and the Jews, man. Come on.
If you have a Bible right now, current Bible, anything especially post World War I, it's BS.
So
you need to get a Bible from 1800, at least closest to 1800 as you can.
For all of my Christian friends, I'll help y'all out. There's several Bibles you can read from the 1500s, and let me tell you what, they don't say what the Bible say today at all. It's an entirely different writing. It means an entirely different thing. So, like I said, everybody today is practicing a Bible that was written for men by the control of men. That's all it's for. You'd actually have to go way back just to find out what was actually written by the apostles and by David. And then, of course, there's always the Old Testament, which just was stories in the family. So you'd have to go way back just to get to those. Everything else is written. I mean, in King James.
Anything after the First Council of Nicaea is absolute bunk because it was redacted, changed, names were changed, cities.
The Catholic Church took out 19 books of the Bible just to
they did. They took out a lot of stuff.
Is the first of those that took out a whole, like almost all of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, and that was the best part. I mean, Dead Sea Scrolls plainly says you don't need organized religion, split a log there I am, spin a rock there I am, speak to me anywhere you want to. That is not today's religion in any shape, form, and it does not say you have to worship anybody. Worship is narcissism. So when somebody asks you to worship, they're narcissists. And anybody anybody who asks you to worship and then is vengeful about it is worse than a narcissist. I remember when I was in Catholic school and I said, well, this is going to be heaven, nail sitting.
That's what's wrong with you.
All day long.
Just kidding.
I said, I can't do kneel, sit, and stand all day. I said, we're going to have an issue with this already.
That's rituals.
And then all you're there to do is to worship God. I mean, come on, that's slavery.
It's not slavery.
Well,
it is if that's all you do. I mean, it's got to be more to the universe than worshiping God all day long.
That show, if you look deeper into it, you got the
Y'all make that man crazy, probably.
The Eucharist, though, think about that. Eat this and take this and eat of it. It is the fruit of my, or the flesh of my body. Take this cup and drink of it. It is the blood of my body. It's cannibalism.
The blood and the bread.
I mean, yes, it's a symbolic thing with the wafers and.
Well, I don't know if it's cannibalism, but I can see where the blood stuff comes in.
But as a kid, I never understood that. Why should I eat this man's body, even symbolically? It was gross to me then. It's gross to me now.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I didn't understand, and then when I learned more and more about it as I went on. Who, Christopher? No, I believe in Jesus. I don't. It's too late to get into this in this show. We'll do another show on this in the future.
But I want to show a video real quick too.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up a different way. I'm not going to
share no lesbian videos now.
No.
We know how you are. We don't see that anything.
This is no Cornhub, okay? This is a guy.
We're keeping an eye on Emily, guys.
I honestly, my spiritual discernment kicked in. This is demonic, in my opinion. This is a guy sitting behind Grassley. Grassley's talking. He's a senator, I think. Is he a senator? Representative. I'll pull it up this way. Look at this guy.
This guy looks like he's evil.
Watch one eye.
This dude looks possessed. I'm with you. He looks possessed.
Something wrong with that fella.
I know.
They're not even hiding anymore. Here, let's play
one.
What's going on there behind Grassley?
Maybe he's trying to think to him as something brainwashed. That weird one eye thing is weird. That shit is creepy. That's just creepy.
Yeah, don't ever play that again.
Yes, I know, that's creeping me out, man.
It's demonic. They're not even hiding. They're not even hiding anymore. We're gonna see a lot more of this stuff.
Heidi, no, we'll get into it on another night. No, I have no problem with Jesus. Just Jesus, because Jesus. Okay,
Jesus is Joe's homeboy.
Okay, let me explain. We know he existed. Okay, so that already gives him plausibility because we know that the Muslims talked about him. The Jews hated him. The Romans were like, "Well, we're sorry,
That's why we're gonna have a false prophet."
And
that's gonna be
so everybody's so pissed at him.
Well, what do you mean? No, the Jews are the chosen ones. And Jesus was a Jew.
The Jews
let me tell you something.
Jacob.
At no point,
Jacob, but they've been hijacked.
At no point does Jesus ever endorse Christianity. Nowhere.
No, he doesn't endorse.
He does not. He's a Jew, and that's what he was.
He was a rabbi. Jesus.
So, he was a rabbi, which also means he was married because to be a rabbi, you had to be married. So we know that. Oh yeah, you had to be married.
Mary Magdalene. Their daughter is named Sarah.
So the thing about it is Jesus sounds like he was a man who got screwed royally because he
It's
was in the
just
wrong place at the
rabbis do
wrong
not
time.
necessarily need to be.
But my problem
married.
is I've never had a problem with the thought of Jesus or Jesus being who he is or any of that. It's never been an issue for me. My problem has always been the same thing. If Jesus did not feel it was important enough for him to write it himself in his own handwriting and his own language, then why in the hell should I believe it? I don't want to believe something that was written 200 years after his death.
He was too busy ministering.
He was not too busy. He could have wrote anything. He could have wrote anything. Now, unfortunately, he did not have tape back then, so he couldn't record it. And he was a miracle person. He could have just and had it made in text.
But there was meaning behind that faith.
So you're gonna take it. You're gonna take all these people who was worshiping him.
I'm busy right now at 40 hours a week with my job. I don't have time to write.
But what I'm saying is you're gonna take all the rest of these people at faith.
Holy
they
Spirit.
Were drinking wine, they was hoeing around, but you're going to take them at faith.
I mean, I do that anyway.
I got a fundamental problem with that.
I drink.
And the fact that Jesus nowhere endorses Christianity is another problem I have. He still believed, as far as I know, Jesus still believed in the chosen
all these mega
people.
churches, and I fell
Jew,
for it. They're cults.
I'm coming a Jew. I've made up my mind. I'm changing religion.
You can be a European Jew because that's what
I'm becoming a Jew. That's it. I'm becoming a Jew. Wait.
Kanye. I want to tell Kanye.
Don't you got to be circumcised? Oh, no, we're good with that. Okay, we're cool. Okay.
I'm going to talk to Kanye.
I'm going to talk to Kanye. No, people, none of us are hating on God. We like to talk about this because there's lots of ways to go.
I do have a personal relationship with Jesus.
That's right.
My testimony, I've seen him in a vision. I was passed out. What I thought was like 5-10 minutes was 2 hours. That's a whole other topic we talk about.
That's a whole topic by itself. So nobody here has a problem with any of it. We just like to talk about this and give people, we like to open your minds and make you think. You don't have to agree with none of the three of us. You can argue with any of us. You can have a whole different belief. It's not something that you're going to offend anybody by here.
At least we're not Sam Smith.
What do you mean, which God? You know what? We'll get into how many gods there are on another show. That shit's just confusing. At least you're not
Sam Smith. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Sam Smith, you can.
I'm not drinking nobody's Kool-Aid. You can kiss my happy ass. I can tell you that. I will break Martha out, buddy. We'll see who's gonna be drinking Kool-Aid. We're not gonna go there. No. Look, and I say this all the time, and I really mean this when I tell people this. Whatever makes you feel as snug as a bug in the rug, you should believe. There's very few things in the world that's going to make you feel happy or make you feel comfortable or make you feel loved. If Jesus does it, or if Muhammad does it, or somebody else does it, you should believe. I don't think Jesus or God's going to hate you that much when you cross over because you took a choice on a different religion, but you still were showing love and kindness. I don't think they're going to have that kind of problem. And if they do, then we're worshiping the wrong God to start off with. So that's not really the issues here. Issues for us and people like Emily and I are not so much about any religious person or any religious factor.
It's about relationship.
It's about relationship, but it's also about what we're in today. So spiritualism is not the same as going to a church. You can love God, you can love Jesus, you love whoever you want, and not have to go spend your money at the church. I mean, my wife was a Pentecostal most of her life.
Oh, I'll tell you this: tithing by ways of money is a false
that's what I'm saying.
Doctrine.
I mean, I'm thinking. I remember getting.
I'm going to say this: the rapture ain't happening, folks. That's a false doctrine too.
Yeah. I remember getting popped in the mouth.
All of that.
I remember getting popped in the mouth. I was in second grade, Catholic school. I got popped in the mouth because I asked, "What does God need with money?"
It's my dog. I'm sorry.
I was like, and the nun. I still remember the nun looking down at me. He said, "God needs money." Whack! I'm like, well, wait. You could have answered the question at least. Oh no! And then I got another smack because I asked where God came from. I should have never asked that question. But my point is they had very little religious tolerance at these schools. They wanted you to walk the line and follow blindly. And I'm not someone who can follow blindly. I need other answers. So
that's why you got a radio.
That's right. And I get up and gripe at y'all. But we got to get out of here because it's late.
Yeah.
Emily and Jay are both East Coasters, so it's late for
1
them.
o'clock.
Yeah. 1 o'clock.
It's the wee hours. And no, the show's doing great. We've been doing 3 hours regularly now, and everybody's doing great. We got good ratings in the show. Last week it was like 2.6 million or something. So we're doing good. And where's the redhead? Trisha's. I can't even read what you just wrote. Okay, I just can't even read that. They
always ask about the redhead. Next time if she doesn't show up, maybe I should prop somebody up here.
Dye your hair red for next week's show.
I have my Peg Bundy wig.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Denise. Well, Denise, no, Jay's not with us every week. Oh, you can tell him.
Most weeks.
Why don't you write that
weeks.
to him in his email? Okay, don't send it to me. And is he single?
You can reach Jay at 1-900.
He's single. Yeah, he's single.
I actually know I'm not.
Oh, he's not. Okay, he's not single. Oh shit, y'all are screwed.
Go
then.
Eagles is what you can reach.
Oh well, what do you mean? Does he cheat? He just told you he wasn't single.
He doesn't cheat.
Do I cheat?
Faithful. No, you don't want a cheater.
All right, first off, Denise. Wait.
Check your Tinder.
Wait. So let me get this right. You're hot and you're rich. Wait, you're hot and you're rich and you want Jay. Okay, look, write to him. You never know. He might cheat. I don't know.
Sugar mama. You got a sugar mama. I want a sugar mama.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. I don't usually ask women their age, but how old are you? I'm just curious.
Does it matter?
29. Oh, I
She's
don't
got
know.
Money at 29. Can I date her?
That's what she's a social. She said if she showed her face, you'd recognize that she's a social, whatever you call them, an influencer.
Is she on TikTok? Tell her to message me on TikTok.
She listens to the show every week too, because I see her in here. Well, look, if you want to join us, let me know. I'll send you a link and you can pop in.
Yeah, she can.
I want to see who Jay's future sugar mom is going to be.
Jay, look at you, Jay.
Hey, wait a minute. I get something out of this. I'm organizing this. I should get a little president or something, man. Come on. I mean, I'm the pimp there.
I'm gonna say he has tattoos.
And, you mean Trish? No, she's married. No, she's not married. I'm sorry. She was married. You mean, does she like girls?
Nobody's asking about
You have to ask her. As far as I know, she doesn't, but I don't want to speak for her because I don't really know. And no, to Lisa,
She's
whatever your name
mom.
is, Miss, I'm in love with Michelle DeRoche. She does not like girls. I keep telling you that. This chick offered me $3,500 to give her phone number the other day.
I would do it.
No, Michelle would kill me.
I would
She'd fly down here and choke me after death.
I'm going to split this with you. I love you, Michelle.
She'd be like, well, I told Amelia
it's inflation. We got inflation.
I told Amelia tonight the girl offered she offered $5,000 a month to take Amelia Slot and be her co-host. And Amelia's like, what? You pimping out Slot? I said, well, I'll split it with you, Amelia. You can sit at home and listen.
I'm just going to tell you, Joe, if anything like that, you can split it with me and send it to I'm fine. Anybody who's listening right now, it's going to be Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
That's right. We forgot tonight. Yes. Come check her out. She's on Friday afternoon. So come check her out.
Before Jay. Before Jay.
She opens for Jay. Actually, by the way, it's been helping Jeff. I meant to tell him that. He's up about 100,000 listeners. So. Tell her to send her some chocolate chip cookies or something.
All right.
It's anyway, we got to get out of here. And I know you're in love with Michelle. Unfortunately, Michelle likes guys. I don't know what to tell you. And she likes kind of manly kind of guys at that. She's not really into girly boily things or like that. The girl ran an oil company for years. I mean, come on. Then she was on TV. She kind of knows what she's after.
And she's on TV. We're all on TV.
You mean the black-headed one? No, the black-headed
one.
That's Amelia. That's the black-headed one.
Amelia apparently is an amazing baker. Yes. Some of the food she posts on Facebook.
Stinking filthy rich.
I need to know her.
Yes, I mean, I think she told me a stove costs like $30,000 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and when she goes anywhere, she has the driver go out to the car and get her coat before she leaves. What can I tell you, man? The girl got money.
She's single?
Yeah, not a whole bunch of them do now. Oh no, she's a sweetie pie. I give her trouble because I'm her boss and I like to give her shit. But
yeah, Amelia is awesome.
But no, we're friends. I do give her trouble. She was getting on to me the other day because she kept telling me, "I heard you're firing me." I said, "Yeah, get the hell out of here." No, we're friends. Though I talk to her pretty regularly. She's a pretty good girl, pretty good woman, I should say. She's not a girl. No, I'm not telling you how old she is. I do know how old she is, but I'm not telling you.
I'll tell you.
Let me tell you what. It's impertinent to ask a woman their age. Shame on y'all. Ask me my age. I'm 25. Can you believe that I got some land out here for sale? Really cheap, man. $100,000.
I love how you wear two glasses too. I love how you.
Oh wait! I was gonna wear my hat tonight and I forgot. Damn it! I wasn't gonna wear my. I've been wearing my hat and I forgot. Well, no, the bowler. No, I don't have it. I don't know where it's at. And the country hat I can't really wear with this. I mean, I'd have to change outfits.
My dog is like trying to climb up in my lap.
She's like, "Mom, isn't it bed?" I'm surprised. I'm surprised mine ain't in here. Actually,
he's ready. He's ready for bed. It is bedtime. He's ready.
Well, hey, Bob was wearing it the other day. I was wearing it last night. Well, anyway, it's somewhere in the office.
Bob beamed it up for an official probing.
Well, anyway, I had it. But anyway, we got to get out of here, guys. Be sure to come check out both of these guys. You can catch Jay.
Friday nights are the best nights. Just stay on.
That's
from
right. It's a good night.
6 p.m. Central Standard Time and on.
We get in trouble, and pretty soon there'll be somebody opening for Emily. Yeah, a couple of weeks. Really? I think there'll be somebody opening for her.
I need to know who.
Well, the daytime slots are filling up fast. The weekend slots are filling. People, look, if you want on a network and you're a first timer.
And I'm having a hard time getting a second slot. So
if you're a first timer, it's going to cost you between $100 and $150. That gets you on Roku, that gets you featured, and that gets you a producer. So it's pretty good. If you're already on a network, it doesn't matter because it's cheaper if you're already here. And it works different for different shows. But for anybody who's been with us now, it's only $35 for them to get on Roku. Yes, because we want them on there. That's why. Amazon will be coming in about 2 months. It should be when I get back from LA. We should have Amazon up and running. And y'all will be able to catch us on Amazon TV. And hopefully by the end of summer, I don't know which we're going to go first, if we're going to go with Apple, if we're going to go with Samsung, but one of those two will also be up and running. So you'll be able to catch us on those. You'll be able to watch us on your phone or watch us on your TV. Well, all my TVs have Apple Play on it anyway. When are we
going to have events? We should have events, Joe.
Well, we've been talking about that, but we got to put.
I can help with that.
We got to get a coordinator together just for that because I got Michelle too busy. That's what I'm saying. I got Helly too busy. I
love events. I've done tons of events.
Yes, that's what I do call it.
An con thing here.
Well, something. There's a lot of stuff we can do. We do a lot of stuff in the network. I do call it the Elvira of Canada. I most certainly do. Sometime I call it. Yeah, I do. I call it Canadian Elvira all the time. Well, if you ever, I'm not going to get into why. You'd have to see her standing up and dressed, and then you know why I call her that. No, we're not going there. No, we're not. Sorry. Well, she's on TV a lot. She's got like 40 or 50 TV, more than that, actually. I could pull out her list. It's in one of my emails somewhere. She's been on TV more than I have been. Well, if I look like that, they'd put me on TV too. Well, I don't know. No, they put her on there because what she knows. But I'll tell you what you don't like. Listen. If you want to get her, ask her to talk about demons. Because all the time, she's and I've had this happen to myself. She'll do like a 50-minute, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour do for a movie, and or a TV thing, and the only thing they ever play is the demon conversation. Well, I understand that because, like when I do Ancient Aliens, it's always Ancient Aliens to me. I've been on 4 times. Every time it's 5 or 6 hour interview. Every time.
On Ancient Aliens.
And you know how much actually gets on the air? Like 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe 5 minutes. Yeah. And sometimes I'll get like 2-3 minutes spread out over it. Don't look. No, I'm not bitching. They fly me up business class. They pay me for being there. They put me up in a nice hotel. Last time I was in the town before, I was in Mandarin in the suite, the presidential suite, beautiful suite. And then the time before that, I was in LA. And then they put me up at the Hilton one time and at the one of the high-end hotels. It was nice.
My dog
they take good care of you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, the baby. What'd you do, baby dog?
He's blind, so I get close to his face and tell him I love him.
Yeah, he's like, Mama, get off the damn radio. But anyway, let's get out of here. I should already be out of here pigging out on something to eat. No, I'm on a diet, actually, friends.
Yeah, I'm on a diet, too.
Yes, I got to lose 30 pounds before April 28th, so.
Ooh.
Well, you and me are in the same. I gained 24 pounds in the last year from 3 surgeries.
I gained ever since COVID and this trigeminal nerve. I've gained about almost 40 pounds. So it's got to go.
Well, you and I are on the same diet right now.
Y'all know how much
started last
people.
week.
Do you have any idea how much a men's suits cost a decent one? No, I'm not going out and buying on the clip. I got like 12 suits. I'm not going to buy a bunch of new ones.
We're $400 just for a decent one.
Yeah, and the ones we're talking about were more like $1,500, $1,800. So. Yeah, no, I'm not going to spend that. I'm poor right now. Sometimes I'm not poor. Right now I'm poor. That's just how it works. Some days, because I do construction and radio, some days I'm like, woo, money. And some days I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, wait, here's my hat right here. Look, there it is. It was hanging around.
There we go. Hey, all right.
I might wear it backwards this way.
Next week.
Wait, well, yeah, we're not changing now. We can forget that. But anyway, guys, we are out of here. Everyone, be sure to come check out Emily at 6 o'clock on Fridays. Be sure to come check out Jay at 7 o'clock on Fridays. I'm here with both of them on Friday nights when Jay's here. He usually lets us know sometimes. Trish will be here with us sometimes. And every now and then, Laura Lee will be here for in conspiracy mode. Laura Lee will join us. Adele might join us too. And then we've got other hosts. We just have to feel them out. We haven't been doing panels lately, so we'll go back to doing panels so we can see which hosts can really fit in with what we're doing. Well, not all hosts can do 3 or 4 hosts. It's hard for them, or they don't think they're getting enough time, or they get aggravated. The 3 of us talk pretty good together. It's pretty equal. Ginger did the thing a couple of weeks ago. Well, when there was 4 of us, we were averaging, what was it? It was 22 minutes an hour. So we were right on key per person. The week before that, I think she said it was like 33. That's right on money. So that means everybody's talking. No, it's pretty much spread across the board, which is nice. On that note, good night, and stay tuned for Spaced Out Radio with Dave, the big man, Scott.
Dave.
Good night, everybody. And don't let your butt hit the ground. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have